Chapter 151. Lu Rushing held the brush in his hand, explaining seriously, "This brush is an ancient acquired spiritual treasure, the yin-yang brush." "I know." Lu Yiping said nonchalantly. Of course he knew about the yin-yang brush. He had even met the owner of the yin-yang brush in the ancient times. Lu Rushing didn't think too much when he heard that Lu Yiping knew about the yin-yang brush in his hand. After all, there were quite a number of Jyotian people who knew about the yin-yang brush. "Please enlighten me." Lu Rushing held the yin-yang brush in his hand. He didn't need a piece of paper, merely drawing in the air in front of him. The force of the yin-yang brush penetrated deep into space, causing the surrounding space to tremble as if it was being stirred up. Lu Rushing's right hand drew at lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, a giant golden god of war was drawn. This giant golden god of war was actually imprinted in the air. Not only did it not dissipate, but it emitted a bright light as it walked out from the void. Alive! Huang Jiu, Che Dongyang, and the two guards behind him couldn't believe their eyes. Was this an illusion? The thing he drew actually came to life. Just as Huang Jiu and Che Dongyang were wondering if this golden god of war was an illusion, the golden god of war soared into the air, the halberd in his hand stabbing at Lu Yiping. When the halberd stabbed out, countless halberd lights pierced through the air like falling meteors, aiming at Lu Yiping. Destructive power swept across the land. Sand and pebbles were blown away, and the earth quaked. The terrifying power made Che Dongyang, Huang Jiu, and the others pale with fright. So strong, is this the strength of a peak late-stage world lord? Che Dongyang couldn't believe his eyes. A character drawn out actually had the strength of a peak late-stage world lord. A peak late-stage world lord's strength was at least 70 million units of world energy. During the heavenly steel suppression, the lightning ancestor Lei Yu's strength was only close to 70 million units, not exceeding 70 million units. However, when the golden god of war's halberd lights were 10 meters away from Lu Yiping, they were blocked by an invisible force, unable to break through 10 meters in front of Lu Yiping. As for the golden battle god's halberd, it struck the invisible barrier when it was 10 meters in front of Lu Yiping. Beams of light shot out. However, the golden battle god also stopped there. Seeing this, Lu Rushing frowned, and then his right hand moved continuously. There were techniques for playing the zither, and of course, there were also techniques for drawing. The technique that Lu Rushing used was a lost technique from ancient times, called the ever-changing hands. As the yin-yang brush continued to move, huge golden battle gods walked out of the void one after another. In the blink of an eye, 4 golden war gods walked out. The aura of each of these 4 golden war gods was actually stronger than the previous one. The 4 golden war gods attacked at the same time and stabbed out. The halberd light shot out explosively, piercing through the heavens. It was as if the sun, moon, and stars were about to be pierced through by the 4 divine halberds. Boom! The 4 divine halberds struck the invisible air wall at the same time. The light of the invisible chi wall was even more intense. However, just like before, no matter how strong the attack was, the invisible barrier did not budge at all. It was as if the wall in front of Lu Yiping was the wall of the primal chaos divine realm that could not be shaken at all. Lu Rushing's relaxed expression gradually turned serious. With the infusion of his power of playing, the yin-yang brush in his hand flickered with light, especially the tip of the brush. It was as if a terrifying existence was about to be born from the tip of the brush. Under the nervous gazes of Che Dongyang and the others, Lu Rushing's brush drew across the void, and a huge ferocious beast walked out of the void. This huge ferocious beast was even bigger than a mountain. When it walked out of the void, the surrounding sunlight was blocked, and the world darkened. When the huge beast walked, boundless black waves rolled on its body. What kind of ferocious beast is this? Che Dongyang felt the terrifying aura of the huge beast, and he felt as if his breathing was about to stop. Taurus Longjiao was also surprised. He said, prehistoric ferocious beast, sea-cracking mysterious dragon whale. Lu Rushing saw that Taurus Longjiao actually recognized the sea-cracking mysterious dragon whale. After a moment of surprise, he nodded and said, "That's right, this beast is the sea-cracking mysterious dragon whale." As he said this, he waved the yin-yang brush, bringing with it layers of light. The sea-cracking mysterious dragon whale roared towards the sky. Its roar was like a whale's roar, and it spread out for miles. The surrounding mountain peaks trembled, and rocks rolled down. The mysterious dragon whale spread its wings and arrived above Lu Yiping's head. Its two huge claws slammed down on Lu Yiping. The terrifying power caused the ground around Lu Yiping to sink. But it was useless. When the huge claws slammed down, they met with an invisible wall and were blocked by it, unable to move forward even half an inch. Lu Rushing was shocked. This mystic dragon whale could split open the sea, and with a single claw, it could smash a massive city into smithereens. It could crush multiple planar lords, yet it still couldn't break through Lu Yiping's invisible barrier. Don't be fooled by the ease with which he drew just now. He had already given it his all. Lu Yiping, on the other hand, had yet to make a move. At this moment, a brush appeared in Lu Yiping's hand. This brush was very small. At first glance, it looked light green, but then it looked blue, and then it didn't look blue anymore. The brush emitted an aura that made one's heart palpitate. Lu Rushing looked at the brush in Lu Yiping's hand and was shocked. Even with his knowledge, he couldn't recognize the brush in Lu Yiping's hand. Lu Yiping held the brush and drew in the air. When Lu Yiping's brush drew in the air, heaven and earth were cut open. The sky was still the same sky, and the earth was still the same earth. But everyone saw heaven and earth being cut open. Was this an illusion? Heaven and earth were cut open, and endless chaotic turbulence gushed out. A surge of power broke through the air towards Lu Rushing. This surge of power came from the beginning of heaven and earth, and it was above all power in the world. Heaven and earth lit up. It was as if nothing in the world could block this power. The power pierced through the sea-cracking mysterious dragon whale. Then, the 5 golden war gods all collapsed in a breath. The power arrived in front of Lu Rushing in the blink of an eye. Lu Rushing was shocked, and the yin-yang brush in his hand drew in the air. 2 rays of light pierced through the air, meeting Lu Yiping's power head-on. However, the 2 rays of light were blasted apart in the blink of an eye. Lu Yiping's power entered Lu Rushing's chest. Lu Rushing held the yin-yang brush in his hand, standing there motionless. What kind of power is this? He opened his mouth and spoke with difficulty, "Your painting Tao, has it reached the realm of recreating heaven and earth?" Lu Yiping put away the brush in his hand and said, "What you paint is a painting, what I paint is the heavenly Tao." Heavenly Tao? Lu Rushing's eyes widened in disbelief. In the end, he collapsed to the ground with a loud thud, his breath gone. The yin-yang brush in his hand was still emitting a faint luster. Lu Yiping was expressionless. Although Lu Rushing wanted to exchange pointers with him, he also wanted to kill him. Therefore, the moment Lu Rushing made his move, his fate was sealed. Che Dongyang and Huang Jiao looked at Lu Rushing's lifeless body in shock, and they still found it hard to accept. The art saint died just like that. Lu Yiping looked at the distant horizon and said indifferently, "You people from the Qin and painting school can come and collect the corpse." Chapter 152. Huang Jiao and Che Dongyang stared blankly at the sky. Could the Qin and painting school's experts be hiding somewhere? However, no one dared to make a sound. "Master, do you need me to make a move?" Taurus Longjiao asked. Lu Yiping said, "No need, let's go." Then, he turned around and left. Taurus Longjiao and the others followed behind him. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from the scene. Next time, if anyone from the Qin and painting school wants to spar with me, I will annihilate the entire Qin and painting school. Lu Yiping's voice sounded from the void. A long time later, more than a dozen figures walked out from the horizon. They stopped in front of the art Saint Lu Rushing, and one of them fell to his knees, crying loudly, "Master, I shouldn't have invited you out, I deserve to die." His voice was filled with grief and sorrow. The other people also fell to their knees. Their faces were filled with grief, and their cries filled the air. Half a day later. Inside the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. Vast Sky Thunder and Qin Yuqian sat across from each other, chatting. "In my opinion, there's no need to wait for 2 months to challenge that brat." Qin Yuqian said, "We can go over now and kill him directly." Vast Sky Thunder's eyes were brimming with killing intent. "Killing this brat just like that is too easy for him. When the time comes, I will slowly torture him to death to vent the hatred in my heart. Isn't Chu Tong and the Guiyuan sword school related to him? Before I kill him, I will crush Chu Tong and the Guiyuan sword school's ancestors and disciples to death. I will let him see with his own eyes what it's like to lose a loved one." Lei Yu was his nephew, as well as his only surviving relative in this world. Qin Yuqian suddenly said, "It has been years since I last saw Lu Rushing, I wonder if he's still alive." "If Lu Rushing is still alive, I'm afraid that his painting Dao has already reached an unimaginable level," Vast Sky Thunder said. As the two of them were talking, a patriarch came over in a panic. After bowing to them, he said, "Sirs, we just received news that the painting saint, Lord Lu Yiping, went to challenge Lu Yiping to a painting duel. He was killed by Lu Yiping." Vast Sky Thunder and Qin Yuqian were dumbfounded. "Are you talking about Lu Rushing from the Qin and painting school?" Vast Thunder asked in disbelief. The patriarch was stunned. Could it be that there were 2 more art saints? "Yes, my lord." The patriarch quickly replied, "It's Lord Lu Rushing from the Qin and painting school." Vast Sky Thunder and Qin Yuqian were dumbfounded for a long time. Neither of them spoke again. The art sage, Lu Rushing, whom they had just been talking about, was dead. He had died at the hands of Lu Yiping. "Do you know what happened during the duel?" Qin Yuqian asked after a long pause. "Is Lu Yiping's painting Dao higher than Lu Rushing's?" Lu Rushing had been bestowed the title of painting saint during the heaven battling era. Now, he actually lost to Lu Yiping in a painting duel. Lu Yiping's painting Dao was higher than Lu Rushing's. Both of them found it hard to believe. The patriarch hesitated for a moment before answering. "It is said that Lord Lu Rushing used the yin-yang brush to draw 5 golden war gods. Each golden war god's strength was comparable to a peak late-stage world lord. Even the sea-splitting mysterious dragon whale, which was a more powerful ancient beast, failed to break through Lu Yiping's defense. But Lu Yiping only needed to draw 1 stroke after another to disperse the sea-splitting mysterious dragon whale, the 5 golden war gods, and even broke through Lord Lu Rushing's yin-yang energy barrier. Lord Lu Rushing couldn't dodge and was killed. Therefore, Lu Rushing was killed by Lu Yiping's brush stroke." Vast Thunder God and Qin Yuqian felt their mouths go dry. Even though Lu Rushing's strength was lower than theirs, the difference was not much. Since Lu Yiping could kill Lu Rushing with 1 stroke, didn't that mean he could also kill them with 1 stroke? Both of them picked up the wine cups beside them, wanting to quench their thirst, but they realized that the wine cups were shaking. Was it an earthquake? No, it wasn't. The patriarch called out to them several times, but neither of them responded. A long time later, both of them regained their senses. They looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Could it be that Lu Yiping has surpassed the World Lord realm? Vast Thunder God felt his tongue turn stiff. Qin Yuqian didn't speak because he didn't know what to say. Should we continue to challenge Lu Yiping?" Qin Yuqian stammered after a long time. Vast Thunder God opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but hesitated. Continue to challenge. But, if he didn't challenge Huang Xiaolong, then how was he going to take back the Jiutian that he had released earlier? Vast Thunder God's face turned uglier the more he thought about it. Hidden God Valley was a relatively famous valley in the Qin domain. There was a legend about Hidden God Valley. It was said that a powerful expert from the era of war lived in seclusion in the valley. Of course, whether the legend was true or not was impossible because no one had seen this so-called expert from the era of war in Hidden God Valley. However, there were layers of restrictions in Hidden God Valley. No one could truly reach the deepest part of Hidden God Valley. When Lu Yiping and the others arrived at Hidden God Valley, the sky was already dark. A faint whimpering sound came from the entrance of the valley. It was the sound of wind blowing back and forth at the entrance of the valley. Lu Yiping stepped forward and walked into the valley. Che Dongyang activated the array on his divine armor. Light shone, illuminating everything within a few miles. The deeper they went, the narrower the entrance of the valley became. The wind grew stronger and stronger. The wind is so strong. I'm afraid that even an ordinary great emperor would find it difficult to withstand it, Huang Jiao said. This isn't the wind of nature. Lu Yiping said, someone set up a wind-gathering array here, and it's not an ordinary one. As they walked in, they could feel the cold wind blowing. The ground around them was covered with layers of black ice. What kind of cold air is this? Even the ice on the ground is black. A guard behind Che Dongyang was surprised. Black tortoise cold air. Taurus Longjiao said, it comes from underground. This kind of black tortoise cold air is very rare. I didn't expect it to be here. Lu Yiping led the group around the layers of restrictions and walked for about half an hour. The cold wind disappeared and the scenery changed. A plain full of flowers and plants appeared in front of them. The flowers and plants were fragrant. The plain stretched as far as the eye could see. Just as Che Dongyang was about to enter the plain, Lu Yiping said, wait, this is an illusion. Illusion? Che Dongyang couldn't believe it. He reached out and touched the flowers and plants at the edge of the plain. These flowers and plants were clearly real, but they were actually illusions. This is the Wuxia illusion, Lu Yiping said, once inside, even the master of this plane will find it hard to escape. Che Dongyang was shocked, this is one of the top 10 ancient array formations, the Wuxia illusion. Lu Yiping nodded, this Wuxia illusion turns the fake into the real. Whether it's the touch or the vision, it's incomparably real. It's hard to tell if it's real or fake. Could it be set up by Venerable Wuxia? Taurus Longjiao was puzzled. In ancient times, not many people knew how to set up the Wuxia illusion. According to Taurus Longjiao's knowledge, other than his master, only Venerable Wuxia knew how to set up the Wuxia illusion. Lu Yiping didn't say anything. He pressed his palm forward and light rays spread out. The plain full of flowers and plants turned into a barren mountainous area. Everyone, be careful. Lu Yiping reminded them as he flew into the air. Chapter 153. The group followed closely behind Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. After flying over the barren mountainous terrain, a large river appeared in front of them. Rich spiritual energy permeated the river, and the surface of the river shimmered with a variety of brilliant lights. Everyone saw golden whales swimming in the river. Golden whales were a type of whale, but they were extremely rare. There was a large group of them here, at least 400 to 500 of them. Other than the golden whales, there were many other rare species. This river has already given birth to life. Lu Yiping said. He was talking about the river, not the golden whales and other species in the river. Taurus Longjiao clicked his tongue, in a few 100 million years, this river will grow into a human river. A few 100 million years. Che Dongyang, Huang Jiao, and the others were dumbfounded. Although none of them had heard of a human river, a few 100 million years was too long. Only 1,000,000 years had passed since the ancient times. Lu Yiping shook his head, how can a human river grow so easily? A few 100 million years is full of unknowns and variables. The group crossed the river and continued to fly forward. A short while later, they saw a large mountain. The mountain was 10,000 zhang tall, covering an area of 10,000 li. However, other than some trees and flowers, there was nothing else on the mountain. At this time, Lu Yiping took out the treasure map, then condensed 5 zither strings and merged them back into the zither in the treasure map. In an instant, the sound of the zither rang again. Strings of zither runes flew out from the zither, entering the mountain in front of them. The mountain suddenly shook. Rays of light emerged from the mountain's body. They saw palaces appear one after another on the surface of the originally empty mountain. Inside the palaces, there was the light of the divine tree and the color of spiritual herbs. It was like a paradise on earth. In the end, tens of thousands of palaces appeared. Only then did the light rays on the mountain dissipate, and the zither music from the treasure map stopped. "This is the palace of the holy zither," Che Dongyang exclaimed. "But how did someone move the palace of the holy zither here? Who has the power to move it here?" Huang Jiao exclaimed. "That's right." Huang Jiao and the others found it inconceivable that such a large mountain had been moved here in one piece from another place. This kind of power was too vast. At the very least, a peak late-stage planar lord would not be able to do so. Not even 100 peak late-stage planar lords could do that. Lu Yiping looked at Deshan and said, "The power of the gods in the ancient times is not something people like you can imagine. Compared to the gods of the ancient era, the current 9 heavens, the 10 great experts, the overlords, they were simply too weak." However, this palace of the holy zither was transported here by someone using a supreme spacetime formation, Lu Yiping said. Teleportation through a spacetime array? Che Dongyang and Huang Jiao couldn't imagine it. Although a spacetime array was powerful, it wasn't difficult to move one or several people. However, moving such a large mountain was hard to imagine. How high was this person's array skill? Was it Venerable Wuji? Taurus Longjiao guessed. Lu Yiping grunted in affirmation. "Who is Venerable Wuji?" Huang Jiao asked. "One of the Pantheon era's 10 great masters, also known as the 10 great array masters." Lu Yiping answered. There were many eras in the ancient times, but the era of the Lord of Pantheon was the most prosperous era. There were countless experts, sects, and geniuses contended for hegemony. That was a glorious era. Compared to the Pantheon era, the current Jyotian was a little petty. Subsequently, Lu Yiping led the group down the mountain, stopping in front of the palace of the Holy Zither's entrance. Beside the palace of the Holy Zither's entrance was a large stone zither. Similar to the treasure map, the zither had no strings. Lu Yiping formed a stone string with one hand, then merged it into the stone zither. The stone zither began to play. Zither sounds resounded from one palace after another, illuminating the entire palace. Lu Yiping said, "These palaces are enveloped by a supreme zither array's power. If we can't break through this array's power, we won't be able to enter even if we have the treasure map." Hearing this, Che Dongyang rejoiced inwardly that he had Lu Yiping's help. Otherwise, he would never be able to break through the palace of the Holy Zither's treasure. After breaking through the zither array, Lu Yiping's group stepped into the palace of the Holy Zither. First, Lu Yiping arrived at the front hall of the palace of the Holy Zither. There was nothing in the front hall of the palace of the Holy Zither. It was completely empty. The 4 walls of the hall were carved with various paintings of zither. Standing in the hall, one could feel the zither music lingering in the air for tens of thousands of years. Even the powerful palace of the Holy Zither was destroyed in the long river of time. Huang Jiao thought of the Phoenix God School and sighed. Lu Yiping said, "In this world, there are no sects or forces that will last forever. In ancient times, the heavenly court was so powerful that it unified all the worlds. Countless planes had to submit to it, but it was still destroyed in the end." Taurus Longjiao said, "I wonder if the old Sky Sovereign is dead." Lu Yiping said, "It's hard to say. It was very difficult to kill an existence like the Sky Sovereign. His divine soul and will were probably one with all the worlds. They passed through the front hall and walked to the back. When they passed by a garden, Che Dongyang saw a flower in the middle of the garden that was blooming with golden flames. Che Dongyang was surprised. Could it be a golden flame flower? According to the divine canon, the golden flame flower was a rare flower. It's a golden flame flower, Lu Yiping said. Che Dongyang stared at the golden flame flower and swallowed. You can pick the flowers, spiritual herbs, and divine fruits here, Lu Yiping said. He didn't need these things. After all, the treasure map belonged to Che Dongyang. Thank you, Lord. Che Dongyang was pleasantly surprised and bowed. They walked to the back and finally came to a door made of titanium divine iron. This should be the palace of the Holy Zither's treasure vault. On the door, there were zither carved. Some had strings, some had no strings, and some were missing strings. These zither were of different sizes and there were a total of 9 of them. 9 palace zither formation. Taurus Longjiao guessed. Although his zither playing was unbearable to the ear, he had followed Lu Yiping for so many years, his eyesight wasn't bad. Lu Yiping nodded. It's the 9 palace zither formation, but some changes have been made. Of course, this wasn't a problem for Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping added strings to the zither that lacked strings and the zither that had no strings. Finally, he tapped a string on one of the ancient zither. The sound of zither music resounded and the treasure vault's door slowly opened. When the treasure vault's door opened, auspicious lights burst out. Colorful lights and chaos spiritual energy filled the air. Clearly, there were chaos-grade treasures inside the treasure vault. The group stepped into the treasure vault. At a glance, the space inside the treasure vault resembled a giant city. Above the treasure vault were spiraling spiritual veins, and the largest one was a chaos-grade spiritual vein. On the ground, rare materials were piled high. Huang Jiu, Che Dongyang, and the 2 guards stared at the scene in awe. Lu Yiping's expression remained unchanged as he walked deeper into the treasure vault. Finally, when he reached the deepest part of the treasure vault, he saw a piece of tree as tall as several people and was astonished. Isn't this the tree piece of Jianshu? Chapter 154. Taurus Longjiao followed behind Lu Yiping. He was stunned when he saw the tree block that was as tall as a few people. Is this the tree block of the Jianshu? It can't be. Is this really the Jianshu tree block? He still didn't believe it. He went forward to touch it and then knocked on it. With Taurus Longjiao's strength, there was no sound at all when he knocked on the tree block. Taurus Longjiao was astonished. He knew his strength very well. Not only was there no sound when he knocked on the tree block, but the bark of the tree block didn't even move. Taurus Longjiao knocked on it again. There was still no sound from the tree block. You don't have to knock anymore. Lu Yiping said, the trunk of the Jianshu tree is comparable to the hardest divine iron in the chaos. It can automatically absorb the power of attacks. Therefore, there won't be any echo if you knock on it like this. Taurus Longjiao said, a tree block has such a defense. The defense of the Jianshu tree back then is too terrifying. Lu Yiping nodded. The Jianshu tree is so hard. What did the Sky Emperor use to cut it? Taurus Longjiao was puzzled. With the hardness of the Jianshu tree, even ordinary supreme treasures couldn't hurt it at all. Lu Yiping guessed, it might be the heaven-splitting divine axe or the earth-splitting chisel. In the world, only the heaven-splitting divine axe and the earth-splitting chisel could cut the Jianshu tree. The heaven-splitting divine axe and the earth-splitting chisel were like the creation jade disc. They were supreme treasures of the chaos. The heaven-splitting divine axe and the earth-splitting chisel. Taurus Longjiao's eyes were blazing. If I have one of them, I can walk sideways in this world. Lu Yiping said unhappily, then try walking sideways. Taurus Longjiao's face didn't turn red. He smiled and said, when I get the heaven-splitting divine axe and the earth-splitting chisel, I will walk sideways. Lu Yiping used his hands to lift the builder tree's block. It was actually extremely heavy, perhaps even heavier than an ancient mountain. A piece of tree that was a few meters tall was already so heavy. Back then, it was unknown how many tens of thousands of feet the tree of creation stood between heaven and earth. One could imagine how heavy it was. When the celestial emperor chopped down the tree of creation, it would probably smash through many planes. Lu Yiping stored the tree piece into the cauldron of heaven and earth. When he returned, he wanted to see if his creation tree, which had already grown, could absorb and fuse with the tree piece. If he could, then he wouldn't have to spend so much effort to find all kinds of chaotic water in the future. These days, he had insisted on watering 2 bowls of star chaos water every day. He had probably used up a large bucket of star chaos water. After that, Lu Yiping found a lot of good stuff in the depths of the palace of the Holy Zither's treasury. Taurus Longjiao didn't stay idle either. He took all the good stuff he saw. They harvested for an entire day. After emptying the palace of the Holy Zither's treasury, they left the treasury and went to the other palaces of the palace of the Holy Zither to take a look. Finally, they arrived at the palace of the Holy Zither's spiritual herb garden. The palace of the Holy Zither was as famous as the Big Dipper Divine Palace in the past, so its spiritual herb garden was naturally not small. Moreover, the spiritual herbs planted there were all rare spiritual herbs. After the ancient era, the middle era, and the recent era, these spiritual herbs were at least 1,000,000 years old. They also took all of them. When they came out of the palace of the Holy Zither, Che Dongyang's face bloomed with smiles. The treasure map was his, so Lu Yiping didn't treat him unfairly. After coming out, Lu Yiping didn't stay any longer. He left Hidden God Valley with Taurus Longjiao and the others. After the palace of the Holy Zither's matter, Lu Yiping and Che Dongyang separated after leaving Hidden God Valley. Night time. The moon was bright and the stars were sparse. On a mountain peak not far from Hidden God Valley, Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Huangjiao were sitting by a bonfire. Taurus Longjiao was gnawing on a jade-like spiritual fruit that he found in the palace of the Holy Zither today. This purple jade fruit tastes pretty good, Taurus Longjiao said while gnawing. Huangjiao smiled bitterly. This was a 1,000,000-year purple jade fruit, so of course it tasted pretty good. He also took one and took a small bite out of it. He felt that his mouth was full of fragrance, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to describe it as bejeweled nectar. Lu Yiping drank wine and flipped through the books that he found in the palace of the Holy Zither's treasury today. One of them was the Guqin manual of the palace of the Holy Zither, and the other was the notes of the palace of the Holy Zither's palace master. In this note, the palace of the Holy Zither's palace master not only recorded his own Guqin Dao experience, but also recorded many things from ancient times. Of course, these things were mainly from the palace of the Holy Zither. When he flipped to the last few pages, Lu Yiping suddenly stopped. The Inba race. In the last few pages, the palace of the Holy Zither's palace master mentioned the Inba race. When Lu Yiping finished reading, his eyes turned cold. According to the palace of the Holy Zither's palace master, after the fall of the Big Dipper Divine Palace's palace master, the incessant internal strife in the Big Dipper Divine Palace was actually a scheme and manipulation by the Inba race. At the same time, the Inba race knew that he had obtained the Jianshu tree block. The destruction of the palace of the Holy Zither was also related to the Inba race. When Taurus Longjiao saw Lu Yiping's expression, he asked, "What's wrong?" Lu Yiping showed the last few pages of the notes to Taurus Longjiao. After reading it, Taurus Longjiao's eyes were also indifferent. "It's those Inba race bastards again." Lu Yiping was deep in thought. According to the palace of the Holy Zither's palace master, the Inba race was also looking for the Jianshu tree block. What did the Inba race want to do? Could it be that they wanted to revive the Jianshu tree? If the Inba race had the Jianshu tree, they would be able to freely travel to and from the myriad worlds. At that time, it would be extremely convenient for them to do things. The Inba race was extremely ambitious. After the immemorial celestial court was destroyed, the Inba race had always wanted to control the myriad worlds and suppress the heavens. Lu Yiping took out the Jianshu tree sapling and the Jianshu tree block. Then, he used the Azure Thearka's divine wood technique to wrap the Jianshu tree block and land it on top of the sapling. When the Jianshu tree block came near the sapling, suddenly, the sapling produced a strong suction force and sucked the Jianshu tree block down. The sapling and the Jianshu tree block were like two magnets that attracted each other. Then, the sapling and the Jianshu tree block glowed with a green light, and the Jianshu tree block began to merge into the sapling. As the Jianshu tree block merged, the palm-sized sapling began to grow rapidly. Soon, it grew to 1/2 meter tall. Then, it grew to 1 meter. 2 meters. Originally, the sapling was only the size of a finger and looked as if it would break at any time. Now, as it grew taller, the sapling gradually thickened. Soon, it was as thick as an adult's arm. Finally, when the Jianshu tree completely merged with the Jianshu tree block, it grew to 3 meters tall and was as thick as 2 arms. The aura of chaos swirled around it endlessly. F***ck. Taurus Longjiao exclaimed when he saw the changes in the Jianshu tree. Lu Yiping was overjoyed. The growing sapling could indeed absorb and merge with the Jianshu tree block from before. In the past few days, he had watered the Jianshu tree with 2 bowls of star chaos water every day, but the Jianshu tree block had already grown to 3 meters tall. After keeping the Jianshu tree block, Lu Yiping took out the sky steel's main steel and the 9 steels around it and continued to comprehend. The sky brightened. Lu Yiping and the others set off for the demon divine domain. It was time to deal with the Kuan-Ping divine sect. The demon divine domain was the #1 domain in the Jiutian domain, and it was also where the Kuan-Ping divine sect was located. The Zither domain was close to the demon divine domain. On the second day, Lu Yiping and the others stepped into the demon divine domain. Vast thunder issued the divine order of the Kuan-Ping, gathering all the Jiutian super forces. Is he trying to mobilize the entire Jiutian force to kill Lu Yiping? After Lu Yiping and the others stepped into the demon divine domain, the experts they met along the way were all discussing vast thunder's gathering of the Jiutian super forces. Chapter 155. Not just the Jiutian, I heard that even the Nether prison's lifeless sex barefoot monsters are here. What? The barefoot monsters? That's the Heavenly War era Supreme Devil. Even they are here. Not just that. I heard that the lifeless sect has sent someone even more terrifying than the barefoot monsters, but I don't know who that person is. On the mountain path in front of them, several experts chatted as they walked, their saliva flying everywhere. The overlords of the Holy Devil era were rare, and it was rare to see one. But recently, many old monsters from the Heavenly War era had appeared. They were old monsters from the Heaven Battling era. If they plucked a single hair from their body, they would be able to crush a large number of heavenly gods. Therefore, when they talked, their faces were filled with excitement, as if they were the nephew or disciple of those old monsters. Why is the lifeless sect trying to kill Lu Yiping? Someone asked. You don't know, right? I heard that Lu Yiping intervened in the matter between the Heavenly Dragon Divine Country and the lifeless sect, and killed Lord Sun Haiyin. What? Even Lord Sun Haiyin was killed by Lu Yiping? The others were shocked. This matter was deliberately suppressed by the Misty Pavilion, so not many people knew about it. Lu Yiping is simply a killing god. First, it was the Zither god Fu Chao, then the lightning ancestor Lei Yu, the Zither devil Ju, Zhong Sangchong, and now even Sun Haiyin is dead. And the painting sage, Lord Lu Rushing. Everyone mentioned one name after another. Everyone's hearts trembled when they heard these names. These names were all recorded in the 9 heavens and the Netherworld prison gods canon. Recently, they had all died. Especially the painting sage, Lu Rushing, who was a supreme expert of the Heavenly War era. After everyone finished, silence filled the air. At this time, a voice sounded, "You're saying that the barefoot monsters from the lifeless sect have come to the Jotian?" The few of them looked over and saw that 3 more people had appeared behind them. The one who spoke was a young man in blue robes. One of the true God Realm experts stared blankly for a moment before nodding his head. "That's right, I heard that he has already arrived at the Kunpeng Divine Sect and is currently in the main hall." The newcomers were none other than Lu Yiping and the other 2. "Oh, how many experts did the lifeless sect send this time?" Lu Yiping asked. "I don't know about that. I heard that close to 100 people came, and all of them are realm masters," that true God expert said. After which, he glanced at Lu Yiping and the other 2 and asked, "Are the 3 of you also going to participate in the Kunpeng Divine Sect's gathering?" Lu Yiping smiled, "We are going to the Kunpeng Divine Sect." He didn't say that he was going to attend a grand event. "Since we are traveling together, why don't we travel together?" That true God Realm expert smiled and said, "The more people there are, the livelier it will be." Lu Yiping hesitated for a moment. "Brother, do you have other matters to attend to?" the other party asked. Lu Yiping shook his head. "No. That's good then." That true God Realm expert smiled. In the end, Lu Yiping nodded his head in agreement. In any case, he wasn't in a hurry to reach the Kunpeng Divine Sect. Thus, he decided to travel with them. Through the introductions, Lu Yiping found out that these people came from 2 different sections. The first true God Realm expert was from the Great Void Region's Tao-seeking sect, and his name was Lin Zhe. The other 3 were from the Firmament God region, and they were all true God Realm experts. Along the way, Lu Yiping noticed that many Divine Spirit Realm experts were also rushing towards the Kunpeng Divine Sect. He asked, "Could it be that everyone can participate in the Kunpeng Divine Sect's gathering this time?" Lin Zhe said, "Something like that." The Kunpeng Divine Sect said that as long as one is a Divine Spirit Realm expert, regardless of which sect they are from, they can participate. He then added, "I heard that the Tai Ching Sword School's esteemed Yuqing, the Heavenly Beast Sect's Beast Ancestor, and the 100 Changing Gates Illusion Demon Ancestor are also here." Lu Yiping wasn't surprised that the Tai Ching Sword School wanted to kill him. However, he didn't expect that the Heavenly Beast Sect and 100 Changing Gate would also participate. Previously, he killed the Heavenly Beast Sect's ancestor, Pan Hongping. Could it be that the Heavenly Beast Sect wanted to kill him because of that? There was also the 100 Changing Gate. He didn't offend them, right? After asking, Lu Yiping found out that the Heavenly Beast Sect and 100 Changing Gate had always followed the Kunpeng Divine Sect's lead. The few of them continued to walk and stop. 2 days later, the Kunpeng Divine Sect's entrance was finally in sight. "Brother Lu, the Kunpeng Divine Sect is right in front." Lin Zhe pointed at the endless mountain range in front of them. On top of the mountain range, there were many palaces, and an endless stream of experts. Although they were far away, they could still feel the might of the Kunpeng Divine Sect, the #1 sect in Jotian. In this Kunpeng Divine Sect's gathering, there were experts from all over the Jotian. However, at a glance, the Kunpeng Divine Sect's disciples made up the majority. The number of experts from all the sects added together couldn't even be compared to the number of Kunpeng Divine Sect's disciples. In the distant crowd, Venerable Golden Light's son, Jin Tianhong, was strolling leisurely with a few elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect. The Kunpeng Divine Sect's original sect master, Fei Jia, was his uncle. He had accompanied his aunt, Jin Meiwan, and his father, Venerable Golden Light, to participate in this Kunpeng Divine Sect's gathering. They had already arrived 2 days ago. As Jin Tianhong was walking, he suddenly saw a blue-robed figure. "It's this brat." When he saw that it was Lu Yiping, Jin Tianhong's eyes flashed with killing intent. "Brother Tianhong, what's wrong?" Elder Shi of the Kunpeng Divine Sect asked. Jin Tianhong pointed at Lu Yiping angrily. A few days ago on the Six-Eye Mountain, my arms were chopped off by this person's slave. His gaze landed on Huangjiu, who was standing beside Lu Yiping. It was that dog of a slave who chopped off my arms. Although his arms had already been reattached by his aunt, Jin Meiwan, they were still not as smooth as before. Every time he circulated his god force through his arms, it would be somewhat obstructed. It was no longer as smooth as before. Oh! Hearing that, the elders of the Kunping divine sect looked at Lu Yiping, Huangjiu, and the others with unfriendly gazes. Shi Wei sneered, I didn't expect them to dare to come to the Kunping divine sect. Jin Tianhong said, I did not reveal my identity at that time, so they didn't know who I was. If they knew, they wouldn't have dared to make a move even if they had 100 guts. Shi Wei smiled, Brother Tianhong, how do you want to execute them? I'll go and bring them over now. Jin Tianhong raised his hand to stop Shi Wei, saying, they are not weak. That slave of his is an early heavenly god like me, but his battle prowess is very strong. Let's go and call for the experts first. The elders of the Kunping divine sect laughed. This is the Kunping divine sect's territory, I don't think they would dare to retaliate. Shi Wei smiled, unless they want to be annihilated. Even in the other regions, there weren't many who dared to make a move on the elders of the Kunping divine sect. Not to mention that they were in the Kunping divine sect's territory. The elders of the Kunping divine sect walked towards Lu Yiping. Jin Tianhong hesitated for a moment before following them. Lin Zhe saw a familiar face in the crowd. Just as he was about to greet them, he saw the elders of the Kunping divine sect walking over and blocking his path. He couldn't help but be shocked. Jin Tianhong came to Lu Yiping's side and said indifferent, you didn't expect to meet me here, right? The last time at the Six-Eye Mountain, you severed my arms. I've always remembered it in my heart. Chapter 156. Hearing that, Lu Yiping glanced at Jin Tianhong's arms, saying nonchalantly, your arms are reattached pretty well. Why, do you want to take revenge? Seeing Lu Yiping's nonchalant attitude, the Kunping divine sect elders' faces turned cold. Brat, do you know who he is? One of the Kunping divine sect's elders Shi Wei spoke, he is Venerable Golden Light's son, Jin Tianhong. Lin Zhe and the rest who were with Lu Yiping turned ashen. Venerable Golden Light. This Master Lu chopped off Venerable Golden Light's son's arms. One of them hurriedly said, several Kunping divine sect elders, young Master Jin, we only met this person by chance, we are not familiar with him. With that said, he hurriedly left Lu Yiping's side. The others quickly explained to Shi Wei, Jin Tianhong, and the rest before leaving. Even Lin Zhe was no exception. The few of them hid as far away as possible. After hiding far away, Lin Zhe was filled with regret. If he knew that this Lu brat had offended Venerable Golden Light's son, he wouldn't have invited him to travel with them. Lin Zhe, it's all your fault. If you didn't invite this Lu brat, we wouldn't have to travel with him. Another person reprimanded Lin Zhe, I wonder if the Kunping divine sect will vent their anger on us. The few of them were filled with unease. Lu Yiping was surprised when he heard Shi Wei say that the Six-Eye Mountain's young man was Venerable Golden Light's son. He looked at Jin Tianhong again, I really didn't expect you to be Venerable Golden Light's son. Shi Wei asked Jin Tianhong, Big Brother Tianhong, how do you want to deal with them? Do you want to chop off their arms or their legs as well? Or do you want to pull out their tendons and refine their souls? Indifferent, Jin Tianhong continued, breaking their arms is letting them off too easily. But there's no need to pull out their tendons and refine their souls. Just chop off their arms and legs, shatter their meridians, and throw them out. Shi Wei looked at Lu Yiping, did you hear that? Quickly kneel down and thank Big Brother Tianhong for sparing your life. When Lu Yiping heard this, he found it funny. The dragon horn golden bull also laughed. Thank you for sparing my life. Taurus Longjiao looked at Jin Tianhong from head to toe. Brat, I didn't expect you to be Monk Jingguang's son. If we had known, we would have broken more than just your arms last time. If I had known that you were Venerable Master Jingguang's son, would have broken your butt. Jin Tianhong, Shi Wei, and the others were stunned. At this moment, all the experts who were passing by stopped in their tracks. They all had strange expressions on their faces when they heard this. Who is this person? Knowing that the other party is Venerable Master Golden Light's son, why are you still so arrogant? The faces of Shi Wei and the others from the Kunpeng Divine Sect sank. It seems like breaking your arms and legs is nothing to you. Do you want to die? Indifferent, Shi Wei abruptly slapped at Taurus Longjiao, kneel down. When his right hand reached Taurus Longjiao's face, Taurus Longjiao grabbed Shi Wei's right hand and squeezed. The sound of bones breaking resounded. Shi Wei screamed in pain. Everyone was stunned. Taurus Longjiao snorted, "You like kneeling that much, right? Kneel down." Then, his palm slapped down on Shi Wei's head. In an instant, Shi Wei was slapped into the ground by Taurus Longjiao. Bang! The ground shook, causing sand and stones to splatter everywhere. Shi Wei knelt on the ground. Due to Taurus Longjiao's strength, his legs were broken. Even so, he was still pinned to the ground by Taurus Longjiao's strength. A large chunk of his head was flattened. Blood splattered all over his head and face. However, he wasn't dead yet. Taurus Longjiao purposely held back his strength, so he wouldn't die immediately. Everyone was stunned. Even Jin Tianhong and the other elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect were stunned. In the distance, Lin Zhe and the rest felt their hearts trembling violently. He killed that elder of the Kunpeng Divine Sect. Beside Lin Zhe, the expert who blamed Lin Zhe for inviting Lu Yiping and the rest to travel with him stuttered. Everyone could tell that even though Shi Wei wasn't dead yet, he wasn't far from death. Is he crazy? Lin Zhe looked at Taurus Longjiao in disbelief. Killing an elder of the Kunpeng Divine Sect. And the location was at the Kunpeng Divine Sect's mountain gate. And now, it was the Kunpeng Divine Sect's grand meeting. At this moment, Taurus Longjiao looked at the other elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect. He grinned and slapped down. "All of you, kneel down." The other elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect felt their heads darken, and a loud boom sounded. It was as if their heads were smashed by the Chaos Mountain. Their minds buzzed, and they lost all consciousness. The other elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect were also slapped to the ground, causing them to kneel. Just like Shi Wei, their heads were flattened, and their bodies were covered in blood. Their legs were broken. Lin Zhe and the surrounding experts were dumbfounded. As for Jin Tianhong, he looked at the elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect whose heads were flattened. He felt as if his breathing had stopped, and his heart had stopped. He felt a chill run down his spine, and he looked at Long Jiao Jin with fear in his eyes. "You guys. Us?" Taurus Longjiao laughed, "What are you trying to say?" Jin Tianhong's voice trembled, and he didn't know what to say. Taurus Longjiao also slapped Jin Tianhong into the ground, causing him to kneel there. Jin Tianhong and the other elders of the Kunpeng Divine Sect also knelt there. At this time, Venerable Master Jingguang and Jin Meiwan were accompanying Vast Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the twin barefoot monsters in the Kunpeng Divine Sect's main hall. Although Venerable Master Jingguang and Jin Meijuan's status wasn't low, in front of Vast Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the twin barefoot monsters, they were only juniors among juniors. Thus, they were arranged to sit at the back of the main hall. Vast Thunder said to the twin barefoot monsters, "This Lu Yiping is very strong, and I'm afraid he has already surpassed the Realm Lord. Thus, to kill him, we need to plan carefully." The twin barefoot monsters were two people, and one of them spoke. "Didn't Brother Vast Thunder challenge him to a battle? Why don't we change the location to the Kunpeng Divine Sect? At that time, we can use the Kunpeng Divine Formation to trap him, and killing him will be easy." Taiching Sword School's Venerable Master Yuqing spoke, the Kunpeng Divine Sect is the Jotian's #1 divine formation. If we can lure him to the Kunpeng Divine Sect, we can definitely kill him. Venerable Master Jingguang and Jin Meiwan sat there, not daring to interrupt. At this time, a Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestor rushed into the main hall in a fluster. When he passed by Venerable Master Jingguang and Jin Meiwan, he couldn't help but glance at them. What's the matter? Seeing the Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestor rushing in, Vast Thunder frowned in displeasure. That Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestor hurriedly said, "Ancestor, there are 3 people outside the mountain gate. They killed 5 of our elders and Venerable Master Jingguang's son." What? Everyone in the main hall was dumbfounded. Venerable Master Jingguang's mouth hung agape in disbelief. The other party seems to be Lu Yiping. That Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestor exclaimed. What? Lu Yiping? Vast Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest exclaimed in unison. Chapter 157. In the main hall, everyone's expression changed drastically. Including the twin barefoot monsters and Yuqing Shangren, who were talking to Vast Lei about killing Lu Yiping with the Kunpeng Divine Formation. Are you sure it's Lu Yiping? Vast Lei asked, unable to maintain his calm. Yes, old ancestor, it should be Lu Yiping. The old ancestor said, Lu Yiping's subordinate, the 9th Revolution War God, slapped our Kunpeng Divine Sect's elders and Jin Tianhong into the ground, forcing them to kneel there. Our Kunpeng Divine Sect's grand elders rushed out after hearing the news. Someone recognized Lu Yiping. Everyone looked at each other, but no one spoke. The main hall quieted down in an instant. A terrifying silence. It was as if the name Lu Yiping carried an unparalleled charm. Venerable Golden Light's face was filled with grief. He stepped forward and bowed to Vast Lei, old ancestor, please kill Lu Yiping and take revenge for the Kunpeng Divine Sect's elders and Tianhong. Vast Lei said solemnly, get up. This Lu Yiping won't be able to escape. He then instructed the old ancestor who came to report, pass down my order, the old ancestor in charge of the Kunpeng Divine Formation is to stand guard. Wait for my order to activate the Kunpeng Divine Formation. Lords of other planes and heavenly gods, follow me out to meet Lu Yiping. Vast Lei's stern voice reverberated in the main hall. We obey old ancestors' decree. The Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestors and grand elders responded respectfully. Then, Vast Lei, Chen Yuqian, the twin barefoot monsters, Yuqing Shangren, beast ancestor, and illusion demon grand ancestor led the experts of the Kunpeng Divine Sect, lifeless sect, Taiching Sword School, heavenly beast gate, and 100 changing gate out of the Kunpeng Divine Sect's main hall. The other super sect's ancestors, old ancestors, and sect masters also followed behind them. It was a majestic sight. At the same spot, after slapping the Kunpeng Divine Sect's elders and Jin Tianhong into the ground, Taurus Longjiao did not make another move. He stood with Lu Yiping, waiting for the Kunpeng Divine Sect's experts to arrive. The Kunpeng Divine Sect's vast sky thunder would soon know of their arrival. When the surrounding experts saw the Kunpeng Divine Sect's elders and Jin Tianhong being smashed into the ground, they couldn't help whispering to each other. Because the Kunpeng Divine Sect's Grand Elder did not announce Lu Yiping's identity, the experts present were still unaware of Lu Yiping's identity. At this moment, someone exclaimed, the Black Heaven Sect. It's old ancestor Ji Tian of the Black Heaven Sect. The crowd stirred. Experts from Xiantian Zhongzhong flew over from afar. This time, the Mystic Sky Sect had also received the Kunpeng Divine Sect's invitation. The one who led the profound Sky Zhongzhong experts over was precisely Ji Tian. Very quickly, experts from Xiantian Zhongzhong arrived at the scene. At the scene, all the experts retreated in reverence, opening up a path. Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Jin Tianhong happened to be standing in the middle of the path. Ji Tian frowned when he saw someone blocking his path. When he saw that it was Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's back figures, he was so frightened that he stopped in his tracks. While the surrounding crowd was baffled, Ji Tian walked up to Lu Yiping and bowed. Ji Tian greets Lord Lu Yiping. Lin Zhe and the rest were shocked. Lu Yiping, the ancestor of lightning punishment, Lu Yiping. Many of the surrounding experts retreated, their faces filled with fear. Lu Yiping turned around and glanced at Ji Tian indifferently. This glance sent chills down Ji Tian's spine. He hurriedly explained, Lord Lu, our Black Heaven sect came to participate in the grand meeting, we have absolutely no intention of attacking Lord Lu. Is that so? Lu Yiping asked indifferently. Ji Tian hurriedly added, Heaven and earth can testify, we're just here to join in the fun. At this time, a shocking aura came from the Kunpeng Divine Sect's main hall. Everyone looked over and saw a black mass on the horizon. The Kunpeng Divine Sect, Lifeless Sect, Tai Ching Sword School, Heavenly Beast Gate, 100 Changing Gate, and other super sects armies were marching over. Seeing the Kunpeng Divine Sect and Lifeless Sect's armies marching over, Ji Tian's expression changed. In the end, he distanced himself from Lu Yiping, afraid that the Kunpeng Divine Sect and Lifeless Sect would misunderstand. Lu Yiping didn't mind Ji Tian's actions. In the blink of an eye, the Kunpeng Divine Sect, Lifeless Sect, Tai Ching Sword School, Heavenly Beast Gate, and 100 Changing Gates armies arrived at the scene. When Monk Golden Light and Jin Meiwan arrived and saw Jin Tianhong kneeling on the ground, their eyes turned bloodshot. Jin Tianhong had already stopped breathing. Tianhong! Venerable Golden Light screamed in anger and rushed to Jin Tianhong's side. He hugged Jin Tianhong tightly and bawled, Hong, The Kunpeng Divine Sect, Zhongzhong, and the others were speechless. Jin Meiwan glared at Lu Yiping, and her eyes were filled with killing intent. Lu Yiping, you killed my husband, and now you've killed my nephew. You will die a horrible death, and none of you will have a complete corpse. Jin Meiwan roared like a madwoman. However, before she could finish her sentence, Taurus Longjiao slapped her into the ground. She was kneeling on the ground like Jin Tianhong and the other Kunpeng Divine Sect's elders. Meiwan. One of the Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestors was enraged, and he punched out at Taurus Longjiao. This ancestor was Fei Jia and Jin Meijuan's master. The force behind his punch was boundless. He was a supreme overlord with strength of 80 million battle planes. Seeing this, Taurus Longjiao countered with a palm. Bang! Fei Jia, Jin Meijuan's master, was struck by Taurus Longjiao, and his divine armor shattered. His body tumbled in the air, and when he fell to the ground, his flesh was mangled. He was dead. What? Whether it was Vast Sky Thunder, Chen Yuqian, the twin barefoot monsters, Yuqing Shangren, the beast ancestor, or the illusion demon great ancestor, all of them turned pale with fright. No one had expected that a supreme overlord with strength of 80 million battle planes would be killed by Taurus Longjiao with a single palm strike. During the heavenly steel suppression, Taurus Longjiao defeated Fei Jia with the 9 Revolutions Void Fist, and the Jiutian bestowed him the title of 9 Revolutions War God. Many people guessed that Taurus Longjiao's battle power was around 70 million battle planes. But now, even a supreme overlord with strength of 80 million battle planes was killed with a single palm strike. Could it be that Taurus Longjiao's strength was similar to Lu Yiping's, surpassing the realm of the Dimension Lord? Vast Sky Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the others looked at Taurus Longjiao, and their faces changed. They couldn't conceal the shock in their hearts. Even Venerable Golden Light was scared out of his wits. Lu Yiping swept his gaze across Vast Sky Thunder, Chen Yuqian, the twin barefoot monsters, and the others, and said indifferently, kill them all. His cold voice resounded in the sky above the Kunpeng Divine Sect, entering the ears of all the experts present. Vast Sky Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the twin barefoot monsters were shocked. Activate the Kunpeng Divine Formation. Quick! Vast Sky Thunder screamed in fear. As he screamed, the ground shook violently. Layers of light from the formation shot out from the ground, and a terrifying aura from the ancient times swept across the land. Before this terrifying aura, everyone felt a suffocating feeling. Even the supreme overlords were no exception. Kunpeng Divine Formation, the number one divine formation in the Jyotian. Once the formation is fully activated, everyone within the formation will die. Run! Everyone retreated in fear, trying to escape from the Kunpeng Divine Sect. As everyone fled, a huge shadow appeared in the sky above the Kunpeng Divine Sect. Chapter 158. When the huge shadow appeared above the Kunpeng Sect, the air current was extremely violent, creating a shockwave. Only when the wind force reached a terrifying level would there be a sound of wind explosion. This huge shadow covered half of the Kunpeng Sect's mountain gate. The Kunpeng Sect was the number one sect in the Jyotian. There were more than 10,000 mountains where the inner and core disciples resided. Now, the shadow was as big as half of the Kunpeng Sect's mountain gate. The terrifying aura of the beast covered the heavens and the earth, causing the mountains around the Kunpeng Sect to crumble. Huge fissures appeared on the ground as well. In front of everyone's frightened eyes, the huge shadow revealed its true appearance. It was an incomparably huge ferocious beast. The beast's body was like a shark's, but its wings were even bigger than its body. When it spread out, it was unknown how many miles it could cover. Its teeth were tens of thousands of feet long. They were like incomparably sharp swords. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The Kunpeng Divine Beast. The Kunpeng Divine Beast that fed on true dragons. The Kunpeng Divine Beast was the largest divine beast in the world. It was said that its wings spanned 90,000 miles. Since the ancient times, the Kunpeng Divine Sect had only activated the Kunpeng Divine Formation once. Moreover, it was during the Middle Ages. Therefore, this was the first time everyone saw the Kunpeng Divine Formation and the Kunpeng Divine Beast. The Kunpeng Divine Formation is indeed the number one divine formation in the Jyotian. The formation spirit is actually a real Kunpeng Divine Beast. An old ancestor of the Black Heaven sect exclaimed. This Kunpeng Divine Beast has lived since the ancient times. What realm has it reached? It has definitely surpassed the Lord of a Dimension. Ji Tian said solemnly. Surpassed the Lord of a Dimension. Such an existence was unimaginable to everyone present. Who woke me up? In the sky, the Kunpeng Divine Beast spoke. Once it opened its mouth, its voice reverberated, causing everyone's ears to buzz. Vast Thunder hurried forward and bowed respectfully. Disciple of the Kunpeng Divine Sect, Vast Thunder, greets Lord Kun Xian. The Kunpeng Divine Sect is under attack by a strong enemy. We are no match for them. Therefore, we had no choice but to activate the Kunpeng Divine Sect to wake you up. Lord Kun Xian, please kill the enemy. Protect my Kunpeng Divine Sect. The mythical beast Kunpeng's gaze swept across the crowd and landed on Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Huang Jiao. It's them. Vast Thunder God replied respectfully, yes, not only did they kill over 1,000 of our divine sex experts, but they also massacred the Qin and Painting School, Tai Ching Sword School, and countless disciples of the Heavenly Beast's Gate. If these people are not eliminated, the Jyotian will not be able to rest in peace. I implore Lord Kun Xian to eliminate this evil for the Jyotian. The divine beast Kunpeng nodded. Suddenly, it opened its mouth and roared. A terrifying sound wave swept out from its huge mouth, forming a terrifying sound pillar. That's right, it was a sound wave air pillar. The terrifying sound wave blasted towards Lu Yiping and the other two with the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. Wherever it passed, the ground was lifted up. It was as if the ground was constantly caving in. All the mountains around the sound wave air pillar were lifted up as well. When these mountains were lifted up, they all turned into grains of sand. From afar, it looked like an apocalyptic sandstorm that covered everything. Whether it was vast thunder god, Chen Yuqian, the two barefoot monsters, esteemed Lord Yuqing, or the beast ancestor, all of them were trembling in fear when they saw the terrifying sound wave. Even if they were as strong as they were, they felt as weak as ants in front of this apocalyptic sound wave. If this terrifying sound wave blasted them, they would definitely be smashed into pieces. Was this the power that surpassed the Lord of a Dimension? Even if they were already at the peak of the Lord of a Dimension advanced stage, even if they were all supreme overlords with more than 90 million units of dimension energy, they would definitely not be able to withstand it if they joined forces. While vast thunder god, Chen Yuqian, the two barefoot monsters, and the rest were trembling in fear, the terrifying sound wave blasted toward Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. At this moment, Lu Yiping suddenly raised his hand and blocked the terrifying sound wave. The terrifying sound wave pillar, which was powerful enough to destroy heaven and earth, stopped in front of Lu Yiping. Then, the sound waves began to shatter inch by inch like glass. Vast thunder god, Chen Yuqian, and the rest were dumbfounded. That earth-shattering sound wave that could smash them into pieces was broken just like that. Lu Yiping merely raised his hand. Moreover, they did not even see Lu Yiping circulating the dimension energy. Lu Yiping's palm did not emit any fluctuations of energy. Even the Kunpeng divine beast, Kun Xian, was dumbfounded. This sound wave was one of Kun Xian's ultimate moves. Even experts in the same realm as Kun Xian would find it hard to resist. While everyone was still in shock, Lu Yiping took a step forward, arriving in front of Kun Xian. Then, Lu Yiping's right hand grabbed onto Kun Xian's wing. Then, he swung it around. The Kunpeng divine beast that was half the size of the Kunpeng divine sect was swung around like a speck of dust by Lu Yiping. Then, Lu Yiping swung the Kunpeng divine beast's body towards the Kunpeng divine sect's main palace. Boom! The Kunpeng divine beast smashed into the Kunpeng divine sect's main palace's peak. The ground trembled as the Kunpeng divine sect's main palace's peak was smashed into smithereens. Everything on the main palace and the main peak was reduced to dust. Vast thunder god, Chen Yuqian, and the Kunpeng divine sect's experts were dumbfounded. This main peak had been standing tall since the Kunpeng divine sect was founded. But now, it was reduced to dust. Before everyone's dumbfounded eyes, Lu Yiping swung the Kunpeng divine beast once again and swung it towards the other palaces. The Kunpeng divine beast was like a toy hammer in Lu Yiping's hands. He swung it around as he pleased. Lu Yiping would swing the Kunpeng divine sect's main palace to see which one was the tallest, or which one was not pleasing to his eyes. In an instant, all the surrounding palaces were smashed into dust by Lu Yiping. Sand and stones flew everywhere. As far as the eye could see, the magnificent Kunpeng divine sect had turned into a pile of ruins. Other than shock, everyone was left with nothing but shock. The patriarchs who were guarding the Kunpeng divine formation also fled in fear. Earlier, when Lu Yiping swung those palaces, he had destroyed the most important core of the Kunpeng divine formation. Many Kunpeng divine sect's ancestors couldn't dodge in time and were turned into meat paste. How is this possible? Vast sky thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest were dumbfounded. Their legs went soft. The Kunpeng divine beast that had surpassed the lord of a world actually didn't resist. It was as if all its strength was sealed, turning into a toy in Lu Yiping's hands. The Kunpeng divine sect, lifeless sect, Tai Ching sword school, heavenly beast gate, and 100 changes gate's disciples were even more aghast. After swinging for a while, Lu Yiping looked at vast sky thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest. Lu Yiping's gaze made vast sky thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest shudder uncontrollably. Vast sky thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest's eyes were filled with fear. Ancestor, save me! Vast sky thunder suddenly shouted in the direction of the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. Chapter 159. Ancestor Origin. When the barefoot monsters, Yuqing Shangren, beast ancestor, illusion demon founder, and the rest heard vast thunder shouting at the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground, they couldn't help but recall an ancient name. Ancestor Origin. Yuqing Shangren was shocked. Could this old man still be alive? Even if he had surpassed the realm of a plain lord, he couldn't have lived for so long, right? Just as Lu Yiping was about to swing the Kunpeng at vast thunder, a giant palm print broke through space from the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground, blocking vast thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest. This giant palm print wasn't formed from the power of a plain lord, but was entwined with strands of golden law. Golden law. Every strand of law contained shocking power that surpassed the power of a plain lord. Plain lord. Illusion demon founder exclaimed in shock. In order to surpass the realm of a plain lord, one must comprehend the plain lord's laws. The plain lord's laws far surpassed the heavenly god's laws and the power of a plain lord. After reaching the peak of the late-stage plain lord realm, one could only become a plain lord by comprehending the plain lord's laws. Becoming a plain lord was many times harder than breaking through from the golden core realm to the plain lord realm. In the Jiutian, heavenly god realm experts were common, and there were many plain lords and overlords. However, no one had ever mentioned a plain lord. That was because a plain lord hadn't appeared for many, many years. But now, a plain lord had appeared in the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground. Although the Kunpeng from before had a long lifespan and great strength, it had yet to comprehend the plain lord's laws and become a plain lord. The giant palm print formed from the plain lord's laws arrived in front of vast thunder and gently stopped the Kunpeng. The Kunpeng that was swinging at vast thunder stopped. The despairing vast thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest rejoiced in their hearts. Young man, although you are strong, you have yet to comprehend the plain lord's laws. You are not my opponent. A dignified voice sounded from the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground. Then, he turned to Lu Yiping and said, if you kneel down now and submit to the Kunpeng divine sect, I can make the decision to confer you the title of Grand Ancestor of the Kunpeng divine sect. Taurus Longjiao spat out a mouthful of saliva. Taurus Longjiao's laughter was very abrupt. Everyone couldn't help but look at Taurus Longjiao. Vast Sky Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the others glared at Taurus Longjiao. He didn't comprehend any planar laws. Lu Yiping's expression was indifferent. Even if I didn't use the planar laws, killing you would still be as easy as killing a chicken. After he finished speaking, the power in his hand surged. The mythical beast Kunpeng in his hand shook and shattered the giant handprint. Then, Lu Yiping swung the Kunpeng once again at vast thunder and Chen Yuqian. Bang! What kind of feeling would it be to be struck by the Kunpeng divine beast that was as big as half of the Kunpeng divine sect? Before everyone's eyes, vast thunder and Chen Yuqian were sent flying back to the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground. The two of them were like two small shooting stars, breaking through the Kunpeng divine sex restrictions and smashing into the ancestral ground. A loud boom resounded in the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground. It was as if the ancestral ground was struck by two terrifying forces. Even from afar, the crowd could feel the terrifying force coming from the Kunpeng divine sex ancestral ground. Loud booming noises continued for a long time. Everyone was dumbstruck. Two supreme overlords with more than 90 million units of planar power were blasted away, just like that. Even the Dimension Master couldn't withstand the force. When Lu Yiping sent vast thunder and Chen Yuqian flying, the Kunpeng divine beast's enormous body brushed past the twin barefoot monsters, esteemed Lord Yuqing, beast ancestor, and illusion demon ancestor. The terrifying force stirred up layers upon layers of waves, whistling around them. Their robes fluttered in the wind. Their faces were distorted from the force of the wind. The impact of the sound waves deafened their ears. The twin barefoot monsters, esteemed Lord Yuqing, beast ancestor, illusion demon ancestor, and the rest swayed left and right. It was unknown if Lu Yiping did it on purpose, but he didn't send the twin barefoot monsters, esteemed Lord Yuqing, beast ancestor, and illusion demon ancestor flying. Even though the twin barefoot monsters, esteemed Lord Yuqing, beast ancestor, and illusion demon ancestor were supreme overlords who had experienced countless battles, slaughters, and battles of life and death, when the Kunpeng divine beast that was half the size of the Kunpeng divine sect brushed past them, they were so frightened that their limbs trembled. They felt as if their souls were about to fly out. Do you find it exciting? Lu Yiping looked at the 5 people who were still in shock. Then, Lu Yiping swung the Kunpeng divine beast again, aiming at the twin barefoot monsters. The Death Door's Sun Hyene's name was well known in every corner of the Netherworld prison. However, in front of the twin barefoot monsters, who had the power of 90 million fighting planes, Sun Hyene was just a junior among juniors, a minor character among minor characters. However, wherever the Kunpeng divine beast passed, the twin barefoot monsters were also sent flying. Just like Vast Thunder and Qin Yuqian, they were sent flying into the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. Another earth-shattering boom came from the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. The terrifying power shook the ground, causing it to rise up again. Then, Lu Yiping repeated the same thing, sending esteemed Lord Yuqing, beast ancestor, and illusion demon ancestor flying into the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. The earth-shattering boom continued. Everyone swallowed hard. Was this shooting a ball? Vast Thunder, Qin Yuqian, the twin barefoot monsters, esteemed Lord Yuqing, beast ancestor, and illusion demon ancestor were the ball, while the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land was the goal. Although no one could see the situation in the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land, they could imagine that the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land had been smashed beyond recognition by Vast Thunder, Qin Yuqian, and the others. In Lu Yiping's hands, the Kunpeng divine beast was as stiff as a corpse. The Kunpeng divine beast was completely restrained by a mysterious force, and he couldn't move at all. His eyes that were as big as a lake were filled with intense fear, a fear that came from the depths of his soul. After throwing vast lightning, Qin Yuqian, and the others into the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land, Lu Yiping waved the Kunpeng divine beast and sent all the heavenly gods of the Kunpeng divine sect, Lifeless Gate, Tai Ching Sword Faction, Heavenly Beast Gate, and 100 Changing Gate into the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. The Kunpeng divine sects, Lifeless Sects, Tai Ching Sword Schools, Heavenly Beast Gates, and 100 Changing Gates heavenly gods streaked across the sky like a meteor shower. Although there's no trace in the sky, I've already flown past. Taurus Longjiao looked at the experts streaking across the sky and chanted. Huang Jiao stood on the spot, and the shock in his heart was indescribable. When he heard Taurus Longjiao's chant, his face couldn't help but twitch. Just as the Kunpeng divine sects and Lifeless Sects experts entered the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land like a meteor shower, a figure enshrouded in golden flames flew out from the Kunpeng divine sect's ancestral land. The other party was the Yuan ancestor that Vast Thunder had mentioned earlier. However, our Yuan ancestor was in a sorry state. His robe was torn and tattered. Apparently, he had been beaten up. No one knew if he was beaten up by Vast Thunder or Qin Yuqian. Chapter 160. The Profundity Ancestor glared at Lu Yiping angrily. When Lu Yiping threw Vast Thunder, Qin Yuqian, and the rest into the Kunpeng ancestral land, all of them were aiming for him. Hence, he had been busy hiding from Vast Thunder, Qin Yuqian, and the rest. However, Lu Yiping's final attack had sent the Kunpeng divine sect, Lifeless Sect, and the other 2 great sects overlords and several tens of thousands of heavenly gods into the Kunpeng ancestral land. There was nowhere for him to hide. Who exactly are you? The Profundity Ancestor was furious, but there was fear in his eyes as he looked at Lu Yiping. Without a plane's law, Huang Xiaolong's strength was so strong. So strong that it was indescribable. Everyone's gaze fell on Lu Yiping, and their eyes were filled with shock and fear. Lin Zhe and the others, who had accompanied Lu Yiping to the Kunpeng divine sect, felt their hair stand on end as they recalled how they had chatted and laughed with Lu Yiping. This calm, easygoing young man with a pair of deep eyes was actually a ferocious beast. At this time, a large group of experts flew over from the distant sky. Initially, everyone's attention was on Lu Yiping, but when they saw the newcomers, a commotion broke out. Wine Sage Wushuang. The Wushuang Tavern's founder. He was also the Holy Demon's only in-name disciple. Lord Qing Shuanglong. Lord Zhou Lin. Lord Miao Qingyang. Everyone exclaimed in shock when they saw the experts behind Wine Sage Wushuang. These were the supreme overlords who had followed the Holy Demon in the past. 18 experts. The Black Heaven sect's ancestor, Ji Tian, exclaimed in shock. The 18 experts who had followed the Holy Demon were all mobilized this time. Didn't they say that the Wushuang Tavern rejected the Kunpeng divine sect's invitation? Why are they out in full force now? Someone asked. Everyone was bewildered. Previously, the Kunpeng divine sect's vast thunder had personally sent an invitation to the Wushuang Tavern's Wine Sage Wushuang, hoping that the latter would participate in the Kunpeng divine sect's grand banquet and kill Lu Yiping together. However, Wine Sage Wushuang had rejected the invitation on the spot and even blasted the Kunpeng divine sect's messenger half to death. But now, Wine Sage Peerless was personally leading the 18 generals under Sacred Demon. To everyone's bewilderment, the unparalleled Wine Sage flew toward Lu Yiping. Qing Xuanlong's group of 18 followed behind unparalleled Wine Sage. When everyone saw this, they felt even more puzzled. I heard that Lu Yiping destroyed the unparalleled tavern in ancient Mystic City. Could it be that the unparalleled Wine Sage is looking for Lu Yiping to settle the debt? A sect master said. How is that possible? Gu Wushuang wouldn't go against Lu Yiping for a mere matchless tavern. Unless Gu Wushuang's head was clamped by the primal chaos iron door. Another sect leader shook his head. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Gu Wushuang brought Qing Shuang's group of 18 people closer to Lu Yiping. At this moment, the Kunpeng in Lu Yiping's hand was still as stiff as a corpse. As they got closer to Lu Yiping, Gu Wushuang's heartbeat quickened as he looked at the Kunpeng that was as stiff as a corpse. Qing Xuanglong, Zhou Lin, Miao Qingyang, and the other 18 people following behind Gu Wushuang felt the same way. In the end, Gu Wushuang, Qing Xuanglong, and the other 18 people arrived in front of Lu Yiping. Suddenly, Gu Wushuang knelt down in front of Lu Yiping and said respectfully, Grand Disciple Gu Wushuang greets Martial Ancestor. We greet Martial Ancestor. Qing Xuanlong, Zhou Lin, Miao Qingyang, and the other 18 people knelt down in unison, their voices shaking the heavens. Experts from all sides were silent. Martial Ancestor. Lin Zhe stuttered. Everyone knew that Gu Wushuang was the Lord Holy Devil's disciple in name. Gu Wushuang's martial ancestor was the Lord Holy Devil's master. Lu Yiping is the Lord Holy Devil's master. One of the world overlord's words sounded somewhat incoherent. Holy Devil. Overpowering the Jiutian, Holy Land, and Netherworld Prison. Invincible for 3 whole eras. In the last 100,000 years, the Holy Devil was undoubtedly the one with the highest reputation. Even the ancient existences from 100,000 years ago were far inferior to the Holy Devil. But no one knew who the Holy Devil's master was. Now, the ancestor of lightning punishment, Lu Yiping, was actually the Holy Devil's master. The ancestor Origin stared blankly at Gu Wushuang. Although he had lived in seclusion for many eras, he still knew about the Holy Devil. Gu Wushuang, Qing Xuanglong, and the others knelt on the ground, their palms sweating from nervousness. Get up. Lu Yiping said to Gu Wushuang, Qing Xuanglong, and the others. Gu Wushuang, Qing Xuanglong, and the others stood up respectfully as if they were pardoned. At this time, Lu Yiping was still holding the Kunpeng's wings. Gu Wushuang, Qing Xuanglong, and the others stood beside the Kunpeng, looking as small as specks of dust. So, fellow Taoist is the holy devil's master. The ancestor Origin regained his senses and cupped his fists at Lu Yiping. He addressed Lu Yiping as fellow Taoist. Lu Yiping was the holy devil's master. In his opinion, they were of the same generation. Taurus Longjiao came in front of Lu Yiping at this time. He glanced at the Kunpeng and smiled at Lu Yiping. Master, play with it for me, test the strength of my hand. Lu Yiping threw the Kunpeng to Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao caught the Kunpeng, then picked it up and swung it. The Kunpeng brought with it surging waves of energy, then charged towards the ancestor Origin. Sensing the terrifying power contained within the Kunpeng, the ancestor Origin's expression changed greatly. His entire body's plane laws surged as he slammed his palms at the Kunpeng. Under his slap, the force of his palm was like a tsunami, and 110,000 plane laws shone brightly, 110,000 plane laws. Qing Wushuang and the others were shocked. Many giants, after cultivating for 1,000 years, might not be able to increase their plane power by 100,000 units. As for the plane masters, it was even more difficult to condense a plane law. The ancestor Origin, however, had 110,000 plane laws. Boom! His palm slammed onto the Kunpeng. The Kunpeng paused. But in the next moment, the Kunpeng suddenly swept over at an even faster speed. Bang! The ancestor Origin, who had cultivated 110,000 plane laws, was swept and blasted directly into the Kunpeng ancestral land like vast thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the others. The earth-shattering sound lingered for a long time. Everyone looked at Taurus Longjiao, speechless for a moment. Taurus Longjiao waved the Kunpeng in his hand and said, "It feels good. If you don't like anyone in the future, use this little Kunpeng to practice." Everyone was speechless. A Kunpeng that was half the size of the Kunpeng divine sect was still a little Kunpeng. Taurus Longjiao then smiled at Lu Yiping. "Master, give this little Kunpeng to me." "Great, it was a little Kunpeng just now, and now it's a little Kunpeng. You don't need your metal rod?" Lu Yiping asked. Taurus Longjiao's weapon was the largest sky pillar in the immemorial celestial court's main hall. However, he had not taken it out this time. Of course, other than the cauldron of heaven and earth, Lu Yiping also had a weapon. "I don't need the sky pillar to kill these things." Taurus Longjiao smiled. "This little Kunpeng is suitable." Lu Yiping heard this and let him be. He walked into the Kunpeng ancestral land. Taurus Longjiao sealed the Kunpeng and threw it into his spatial artifact. He then followed Lu Yiping into the Kunpeng ancestral land. Chapter 161. Gu Wushuang hesitated for a moment before following carefully behind Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao with Qing Xuanglong and the rest into the Kunpeng ancestral land. There were other experts from other sects in the Wushuang tavern, but no one dared to enter. They stood outside the Kunpeng ancestral land, watching from afar. When Gu Wushuang, Qing Xuanglong, and the rest entered the Kunpeng ancestral land, they saw vast thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the barefoot monsters lying in various corners of the ancestral land. Vast thunder was blasted into one of the mountain peaks, embedded into the stone walls of the mountain. Chen Yuqian, on the other hand, was smashed into one of the palaces. No one knew which old ancestor of the Kunpeng divine sect it belonged to, but the palaces were completely smashed. The barefoot monsters were lying in a giant pit, their bodies twitching. They were still breathing, but of course, they were about to die. The reason why the barefoot monsters were called the barefoot monsters was because they had a special hobby, which was to not wear shoes. They were always barefoot. Now, not only were their feet bare, they were also naked everywhere else. Gu Wushuang and the rest saw that the last one to be blasted into the ancestral land was the Origin ancestor. The golden flames around his body had dissipated, and both of his arms were completely smashed. It was like a fish in the water that lacked oxygen. Seeing vast thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest's miserable state, Gu Wushuang and the rest were shocked, but they weren't that shocked. Now that they saw the origin ancestor in such a miserable state, there was only shock in their hearts. Everyone looked at Taurus Longjiao, who was following behind Lu Yiping, and subconsciously distanced themselves from Taurus Longjiao. This guy was much scarier than the Kuan Peng. Taurus Longjiao sensed Gu Wushuang, Qing Shuanglong, and the rest's gazes and turned around, scaring them so much that they retreated reflexively. "You guys are hiding so far away, what's the meaning of this?" Taurus Longjiao grinned, "Am I that scary?" Gu Wushuang quickly waved his hand, No, 9th Revolution War God Senior, we didn't mean that." Taurus Longjiao, "What 9th Revolution War God, just call me Lord Shaojin." Then he said, "Since you are Zhang Yifeng's disciple in name, you must have learned a lot from Zhang Yifeng. Let's play a few moves later." "How many rounds?" Gu Wushuang was stunned. He glanced at Yuan Zhu, who was still lying there in the distance, like a fish that lacked oxygen. After a long time, he finally breathed a little. His expression changed. The ancestor, who was as strong as the Dimension Master, had only played one move and it was already like this. If he played a few more moves, what would happen? "Lord Shaojin, with my meager strength, how would I dare to play with you?" Gu Wushuang hurriedly said. "You're so timid. How can you accomplish great things?" Taurus Longjiao glared at him. "Zhang Yifeng often played with me in the past. That's why he has such achievements. If it weren't for the fact that you're Zhang Yifeng's disciple, I wouldn't have bothered with this." Gu Wushuang was stunned for a moment, then his expression turned serious as he bowed. "Wushuang is slow-witted. When the time comes, please guide me." At this time, another person entered the Kuan Peng ancestral land. When Gu Wushuang saw that the person who entered was Chu Tong from the Guiyuan Sword School, he was surprised. Disciple greets master. After Chu Tong entered, he hurriedly went up to Lu Yiping and bowed respectfully. Disciple heard that the Kuan Peng divine sect invited experts from all over Jiutian to deal with master, so disciple hurried over. But he didn't expect that when he arrived, the battle had already ended. He glanced at Vast Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the barefoot monsters who were lying there in the distance. His heart was complicated. Gu Wushuang, Qing Shuanglong, and the rest were surprised to see Chu Tong address Lu Yiping as master. Chu Tong was Lu Yiping's disciple. Lu Yiping grunted in acknowledgement, excusing Chu Tong's greeting. Then, a suction force from his palm could be felt, and the ground beneath the Kuan Peng ancestral land exploded. An enormous spiritual vein flew out from the ground. Ancestral root spiritual vein. Chu Tong, Gu Wushuang, and the rest exclaimed in shock. This was the Kuan Peng divine sect's ancestral land's ancestral spiritual vein. The Kuan Peng divine sect's ancestors had nurtured this ancestral spiritual vein for countless years. This ancestral spiritual vein was not something that other super sects' ancestral spiritual veins could compare to. The ancestral spiritual vein in front of them was several tens of thousands of miles long. The energy within the ancestral spiritual vein was as vast as the ocean. When Chu Tong and the rest breathed in, they felt their pores opening, and even the impurities in their bodies were expelled. Lu Yiping opened his palm, and the ancestral spiritual vein shrank in size, falling into Lu Yiping's palm. Lu Yiping then passed the ancestral spiritual vein to Chu Tong. Although the Kuan Peng divine sect's ancestral spiritual vein was not bad, he had no use for it. Thus, he gave it to Chu Tong. In the future, place this ancestral spiritual vein in your origin returning ancestral land, and merge it with the ancestral spiritual vein. With this Kuan Peng ancestral spiritual vein, the spiritual energy in the origin returning ancestral land would change greatly. At that time, the Guiyuan Sword School's overall strength would rise rapidly. Chu Tong received the ancestral spiritual vein and thanked Lu Yiping. In a single step, Lu Yiping arrived at the deepest part of the Kuan Peng ancestral land's treasury. The Kunping Divine Sect's treasury was heavily fortified with restrictions, and there were many ancient grand formations. However, Lu Yiping only gave a simple push, and the door of the rock treasure vault was opened. The Kunping Divine Sect's inheritance had been passed down since the ancient times. The treasury's wealth was naturally shocking. Inside the treasury, there weren't divine-grade spirit stones, but heaven-grade spirit stones. Piles of heaven-grade spirit stones were piled up in the treasury. At a glance, they looked like mountain peaks. Other than heaven-grade spirit stones, there were also transcendent-grade divine artifacts, and many other postnatal spiritual treasures. However, there were also low-grade, mid-grade, high-grade, and top-grade postnatal spiritual treasures. Most of these postnatal spiritual treasures were low-grade. Lu Yiping only took a glance. Although the Kunping Divine Sect was the #1 sect in the Jyotian continent, its treasury couldn't be compared to the palace of the Holy Zither, an ancient overlord's treasury. In the end, Lu Yiping arrived at the deepest part of the Kunping Divine Sect's treasury. In the deepest part of the treasury, there were some chaos spiritual liquids, as well as some ancient treasures. Lu Yiping took whatever he found useful. In a corner of the treasury, Lu Yiping saw a stone that looked like a silver ore, and he couldn't help but be surprised. Previously, when he was in the Hengyuan plain, the heavenly god river's flow had reversed, and the million-year-old black lotus and dragon jade had appeared. But in the end, a stone that looked like a silver ore had appeared. This stone that looked like a silver ore had the same texture as the one in the heavenly god river. The only difference was that it was much bigger. Lu Yiping came to the front of the silver ore and placed his hand on the stone that was as tall as a human. He tried to feel the internal structure of the stone. What kind of stone is this? Taurus Longjiao came to a stop behind Lu Yiping. He clearly remembered that the stone that appeared in the heavenly god river was the same as the one in front of him. Could it be an item from the primordial heavenly court? It looks a little like my heavenly pillar. Taurus Longjiao said doubtfully. Just a little. But it wasn't the same. It's not an item from the primordial heavenly court. Lu Yiping shook his head. He had a vague guess in his heart, but he couldn't confirm it. Chapter 162. Could it be something from the desolate era? Taurus Longjiao was bewildered. Lu Yiping muttered, it should be the stone of Mount Buzhou. Mount Buzhou. Even Taurus Longjiao was shocked. This was the first sacred mountain after the creation of the heavens. This thing was the stone of Mount Buzhou. Lu Yiping nodded. Mount Buzhou's origin was indeed great. How did the Kunping Divine Sect obtain this stone of Mount Buzhou? Taurus Longjiao asked. Lu Yiping pulled Yuan Zhu, who was still lying in the ancestral land, breathing heavily, and then searched his soul. Soon, the search was over. According to the ancestor Yuan's memories, the Mount Buzhou was obtained by the Kunping Divine Sect's founder in the Netherworld prison. Lu Yiping did not have any impression of the Kunping Divine Sect's founder. Many experts of the Kunping Divine Sect had left the Jyotian and Hengyuan during the ancient, middle, and recent ancient eras. Therefore, the ancestor Yuan was the strongest in the Kunping Divine Sect. After searching the ancestor Yuan's memories, Lu Yiping killed him with a single palm strike. After a while, Lu Yiping's group took all the treasures out of the Kunping treasury. After exiting the treasury, Chu Tong and the rest made their move, killing Vast Sky Thunder, Chen Yuqian, and the rest. The true gods and immortals of the Kunping Divine Sect either fled or rebelled. In less than a day, the Kunping Divine Sect that stood tall in the Jyotian collapsed. After that, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao went to the Taiching Sword School, Heavenly Beast Sect, and 100 Change Sect's ancestral grounds. Those who should be killed were killed, and those who should be destroyed were destroyed. After the Kunping Divine Sect, the Taiching Sword School, Heavenly Beast Sect, and 100 Change Sect were also destroyed, becoming Jyotian history. With the destruction of the Kunping Divine Sect, Taiching Sword School, Heavenly Beast Sect, and 100 Change Sect, Jiutian became much quieter. Guiyuan Sword School. It had been 2 days since the annihilation of the Kunpeng Divine Sect, Taiching Sword School, Heavenly Beast Gate, and 100 Gate. Lu Yiping took out the 2 Buzhou mountain stones and tried to fuse them together. However, no matter how many methods he used, he still couldn't fuse the 2 Buzhou mountain stones together. Lu Yiping pondered for a moment, then took out the Star Chaos water and poured it into the Buzhou mountain rock in the Tianshan River. As soon as the Star Chaos water fell, the stone of Mount Buzhou devoured it. However, even after watering dozens of bowls, there was still no change to the rock. Finally, Lu Yiping took out the heaven-splitting treasure, the Spring of Life, and continued watering it. However, there was no change even after a bowl of water. Lu Yiping couldn't help but feel heartache. His Spring of Life was a heaven-splitting treasure, and even a drop of it was hard to find. After watering the entire bowl, there was still no change. Fortunately, after watering the second bowl, the Buzhou mountain rock finally showed some changes. The entire Buzhou mountain rock emitted a faint light. Lu Yiping was overjoyed to see the changes happening to the Buzhou mountain rock. It seemed like the Spring of Life was still effective. However, after Lu Yiping stopped, the Buzhou mountain rock's light dimmed and returned to normal. Lu Yiping could only continue watering the Spring of Life. Finally, after watering 5 bowls of Spring of Life, the Buzhou mountain rock's light grew brighter and brighter. In the beginning, the Buzhou mountain rock's light was as weak as a firefly, but after 5 bowls of Spring of Life, the Buzhou mountain rock's light grew several times brighter, illuminating the surroundings. Lu Yiping knew that this wasn't enough, so he continued watering. After the 10th bowl, Lu Yiping finally stopped when he sensed the vitality within the Buzhou mountain rock. Then, Lu Yiping controlled the Buzhou mountain rock and merged it with the Buzhou mountain rock from the Kunpeng treasury. This time, the 2 Buzhou mountain rocks began to adhere to each other like the Jianshu tree. Then, the Buzhou mountain rock from the Kunpeng treasury slowly merged with the Tianshan River rock. In the end, the 2 Buzhou mountain rocks completely merged. When the 2 Buzhou mountain rocks completely merged, they were as tall as a person. The originally irregular shape began to change, resembling a small mountain that had shrunk countless times. Lu Yiping began to imprint his soul on the human-sized Buzhou mountain, then used the power of the Grand Tao to refine it. In the sky above the Guiyuan Sword School's ancestral ground, Lu Yiping held the shrunken Buzhou mountain in his hand. With a lift, the mountain flew up and landed on a large mountain peak in the distance. In an instant, the mountain peak was blasted into dust. Earlier, although Lu Yiping brought out the mountain, he didn't pour any power into it. The mountain peak that was blasted into dust was purely due to the weight of the mountain. One could imagine just how heavy this mountain was. Moreover, this was only the fusion of 2 rocks from the mountain. If it was the complete Buzhou mountain that stood between the heaven and earth in the past, then how heavy would it be? Taurus Longjiao said, legend states that this Buzhou mountain hides the secret of opening the heavens. I wonder if this is true or not. Maybe. Lu Yiping pondered and put the mountain back into his hand. At this time, Chu Tong came behind Lu Yiping and said, Master, there's news from the Jade Fan School. We heard that a disciple from the Jade Fan School appeared in the ancient mystic city a few days ago. This disciple is the personal disciple of the Jade Fan School master. His name is Zhu Lang, but he has already left the Jiutian and entered the nether prison. Lu Yiping said, Oh, he went to the nether prison. Also, Master asked us to inquire about Sir Changliang. We've already found out that Sir Changliang went to the nether prison. Chu Tong added. These days, Lu Yiping didn't have any news about Changliang. He felt that it was strange, so he asked Chu Tong and the rest to investigate Changliang's whereabouts. He went to the nether prison. Lu Yiping was surprised. Normally, Changliang would inform him when he left the Jiutian and went to the nether prison, but now, he didn't. Subsequently, Chu Tong reported the changes in the Jiutian to Lu Yiping. Ever since Chu Tong's identity as Lu Yiping's disciple was exposed, there was an endless stream of disciples who came to visit the Guiyuan Sword School and join the Guiyuan Sword School. There were even super sects patriarchs who came with their entire sect to join the Guiyuan Sword School. The Guiyuan Sword School, which was originally ranked last among the top 10 super forces in the Jiutian, had increased its strength greatly in the past 2 days. After Chu Tong left, Taurus Longjiao asked doubtfully, Changliang actually went to the nether prison, could it be because of the purple extreme demon race and the Yin-Yang Borer race? Lu Yiping didn't say anything and looked in the direction of the nether prison. The next day, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Guiyuan Sword School under Chu Tong's respectful escort. This time, Huang Jiu didn't follow them to the nether prison. Instead, he stayed in the Guiyuan Sword School's ancestral land to cultivate. Chu Tong watched as Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's figures disappeared into the horizon. He didn't leave for a long time. The master and disciple parted this time, but he didn't know when the next time would be. The nether prison wasn't far from the Jiutian. One day later, Lu Yiping and Lu Yiping arrived at the entrance of the nether prison. Chapter 163. The entrance to the Jiutian was high up in the sky. However, the entrance to the nether prison was underground. The entrance to the nether prison was filled with billowing black air waves, emitting a chilling aura. After Lu Yiping and Ta Jiao arrived, they paused for a moment before entering the entrance to the nether prison. Suddenly, their eyes darkened, and an astonishing chilling aura enveloped them. There was a suction force of space. After a while, the suction force disappeared, and the two of them felt light as they arrived in a dark world. Looking around, everything in this space was dark. Even if it wasn't dark, the colors were dark. There was no red, green, yellow, or even blue. The sky was gloomy, just like the sky at dusk when a storm came. Since the nether prison was underground, there was no sunlight. The entire space was pitch black. The wind here was a little cold, like winter. This damn place is still the same as it was 1,000,000 years ago. Taurus Longjiao looked at the nether prison in front of him and said. To be honest, he didn't like this place. Lu Yiping looked at his fur and said with a smile, no matter where you go, your fur is golden and shiny. Taurus Longjiao was proud and said with a smile, this is my specialty. Lu Yiping identified the direction, and the two of them flew through the air. Master, where are we going? Let's go to the Sky Demon region. The Sky Demon region was the place where Buddha was buried. Lu Yiping took out a message talisman and contacted the ancient demon god Changliang. However, there was no reply for a long time. Master, you sent a message to Changliang, and he couldn't have not replied. Could something have happened to him? Taurus Longjiao said worriedly. Lu Yiping pondered. Could something have happened to Changliang? However, with Changliang's strength, there shouldn't be anything that could threaten him in the nether prison. When the time comes, let the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion investigate, Lu Yiping said. In Jiutian, the biggest news organization was the Misty Pavilion. In the nether prison, the biggest news organization was the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion. Tianwen Pavilion. I wonder if old man Tianwen is dead, Taurus Longjiao said. Lu Yiping shook his head. He should have left the netherworld prison. Then, he glanced at Taurus Longjiao. What, are you still thinking about his daughter? Heaven's Inquisition had 2 daughters. Back then, Taurus Longjiao had an affair with someone else's youngest daughter. Taurus Longjiao giggled. Master knows me best. The two of them flew all the way to the Sky Devil region. The nether prison was even bigger than the Jiutian. The Jiutian only had a total of over 20 domains, while the nether prison had over 30 domains, which was half the size of the Jiutian. The nether prison had the Devil Clan, the Monster Clan, the Treant Clan, the Human Clan, and nearly 100 other clans. However, in the nether prison, the Devil Clan was the strongest, followed by the Monster Clan, and the Human Clan was the weakest. Because the nether prison had more than 30 domains, its overall strength was much stronger than the Jyotian. The Sky Devil region was the largest domain in the nether prison. In ancient times, it was also the most prosperous domain. However, after the battle between Buddha Venerated and the Devil Clan's lord, the entire Sky Devil region was riddled with holes. Various forces moved away, and the Sky Devil region gradually became desolate. After arriving at the Sky Devil region, Taurus Longjiao, who had always been smiling, became taciturn. In this world, there were not many people that he valued, but when Buddha Venerated died in battle, he shed a lot of tears. After entering the Sky Devil region, Lu Yiping could still feel a faint Buddha aura in the depths of the earth. This aura was left behind by Buddha Venerated. When Buddha Venerated died in battle, his blood dyed the Sky Devil region sea red, soaking the Sky Devil region's land red. Even after so many years, there were still remnants of his aura. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived at a plain. This was the place where Buddha Venerated fell. The battle between Buddha Venerated and the Devil Clan's lord flattened everything around them. However, after so many years, this plain was overgrown with flowers and grasses. Along the way, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao saw dark and gloomy plants, but the flowers and grasses here were delicate and beautiful. As the two walked, they saw a large tomb the size of a small hill in front of them and walked over. Sacred Buddha Emperor, Buddha Venerated's tomb. Seeing the tombstone, both were surprised. This tomb should be quite old, but they didn't know who built it. Just as Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were surprised to see Buddha Venerated's tomb, sounds of whistling wind came from afar, and a tall human girl flew over. Soon, the girl arrived in front of the tomb. She was holding a cup of wine in her hand, and it seemed like she was here to propose a toast to Buddha Venerated. When the young girl saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, she was surprised. Then, she asked warily, "You're from the Vajra sect?" "Little girl, which sect are you from?" Taurus Longjiao chuckled, "How about this, you tell me, and I'll tell you." The young girl's face sank at Taurus Longjiao's words. The long sword in her hand stabbed at Taurus Longjiao, glib tongue. "You don't look like a good person." The long sword vibrated, emitting sword chi. The young girl's strength wasn't weak, she was an Emperor Realm expert. Moreover, she was a 10th layer Emperor Realm expert. However, her long sword was stopped by Taurus Longjiao's fingers when it reached Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao chuckled, "Little girl, your temper is quite fiery." No matter how hard the young girl tried, she couldn't retract her long sword. Her face was flushed red with anger. In a fit of anger, her palm struck out at Taurus Longjiao. Buddha luminance burst out from her palm, and the faint shadow of a dragon could be seen. Lu Yiping was surprised, and he raised his palm to block the young girl's attack. Buddha Dragon Palm. Lu Yiping looked at the young girl, "Who taught you this Buddha Dragon Palm? What's your relationship with Buddha Venerated?" In the past, it was Lu Yiping who gave the Buddha Dragon Palm to Buddha Venerated. The young girl didn't expect Lu Yiping to recognize her Buddha Dragon Palm, and a trace of panic flashed across her eyes. Taurus Longjiao loosened his fingers, and the young girl withdrew her long sword. "Who taught me this? What does it have to do with you?" After saying that, he sent another palm towards Lu Yiping. "Looking at your pretty face, I'm sure you're not a good person either." Lu Yiping was speechless. He raised his palm to block the young girl's attack again, but this time, he used a little more strength, so the young girl was forced to retreat. The young girl looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao in shock, and then she said angrily, "You Diamond Sect lackeys. You won't have a good ending if you work for the Night Soul clan." Then, she flew away. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were stunned. "Master, should I bring this young girl back? Ask her who taught her the Buddha Dragon Palm." Taurus Longjiao asked. The young girl knew the Buddha Dragon Palm and came to worship Buddha Venerated. She must be related to Buddha Venerated. "There's no need." Lu Yiping shook his head. Then, he glanced at the tall and burly man who looked like a King Kong, and said unhappily, "No wonder she mistook you for someone from the Diamond Sect." Taurus Longjiao was speechless. Chapter 164. After the young lady left, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao repaired Buddha Zun's tomb. Lu Yiping took out the myriad ages wine and poured it in front of the tomb. The ancient immortal Buddha Great Emperor Buddha Zun could also be considered one of his in-name disciples. Taurus Longjiao looked at Buddha Zun's tomb and said, "Brat, you love to drink Master's myriad ages wine. Now, Master and I are here to see you." Back then, Buddha Zun died in the hands of the devil race. In a fit of anger, Taurus Longjiao personally went to the palace of the devil race's king of eternal darkness and crushed the king of eternal darkness on the spot. A few hours later, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the plains. The two of them headed towards a nearby city. Clear Breeze City. Lu Yiping looked at the words on the city gate. It was a very poetic name. The two of them entered the city and inquired about the location of the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion's branch. After arriving, Lu Yiping went straight to the intelligence hall and asked the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion to help him find the whereabouts of Zhu Lang and Chang Liang, the direct disciples of the Jade Fan School. Of course, Lu Yiping did not reveal Chang Liang's true identity. He only said that Chang Liang was the ruler of a plane and described Chang Liang's appearance to the other party. Although they were only looking for two people, the nether prison was vast and boundless. It was not easy to find two people. Therefore, the price was not cheap, 20 million divine-grade spirit stones. Moreover, the person in charge of the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion said that they would need a month to get results. "I'll give you 10 times the price. Give me results in 10 days. Lu Yiping said to the person in charge. 10 times the price? The person in charge was stunned. "That's right." Lu Yiping said, "Also, I want you to help me find out where the divine Kunpeng sect's founder went after entering the nether prison more than 1,000,000 years ago. If they could find out where the divine Kunpeng sect's founder went, they would know where he obtained the Mount Buzhou stone." The founder of the Kunpeng divine sect. The person in charge had a strange expression on his face as he shook his head, saying that he was unable to accept this mission. Even someone as powerful as the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion would not be able to find out what happened more than 1,000,000 years ago. Therefore, even though Lu Yiping offered 100 million heaven-grade spirit stones in the end, the person in charge still did not accept it. Suddenly, Taurus Longjiao said, "Master, I also want them to ask for some information." When Lu Yiping saw Taurus Longjiao's expression, he couldn't help but be startled. Then, he understood what Taurus Longjiao was trying to do. He smiled and said, "You want to know Tianqian's whereabouts?" Tianqian was the youngest daughter of the founder of Tianwen Pavilion. Taurus Longjiao nodded in embarrassment. Lu Yiping smiled. Can you help me find out the whereabouts of your Princess Tianqian?" Taurus Longjiao asked the person in charge. "Princess Tianqian?" The person in charge was confused. None of the princesses in the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion were called Tianqian, right? She is the youngest daughter of the founder of the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion. Taurus Longjiao explained, "Her name is Tianqian, she is my friend." And it was the best kind of friend. When the person in charge heard this, he was dumbfounded. Founder? Youngest daughter? Or friend? He looked at Taurus Longjiao with a strange expression. Even when he looked at Lu Yiping, his expression became strange. This pair of master and servant, one was asking about the founder of the Kunpeng divine sect more than 1,000,000 years ago, and the other was asking about the youngest daughter of the founder of the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion more than 1,000,000 years ago. And they even claimed to be friends. In the end, the person in charge rejected this unreasonable task. After Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion, the person in charge looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's disappearing silhouettes and shook his head, "This is unreasonable." His subordinate also laughed, "Don't tell me these two big bosses came back from more than 1,000,000 years ago." The person in charge laughed and joked, "You can't say for sure." Both of them laughed. Not long after Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Heavenly Inquiry Pavilion, they saw a large group of people in front of them, pointing and whispering. "Isn't that Empress Ivan from the 5 Sunset Mountain?" "Looks like it." The 5 Sunset Mountain and the Diamond Sect have always been at odds. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao looked through the crowd and saw a young girl. The young girl was blocked by several burly men. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were surprised to see the young girl. Wasn't this the same young girl they met at the Buddha's tomb? Empress Ivan from the 5 Sunset Mountain. The two of them parted the crowd and walked over. The 5 burly men blocking the young girl were from the Diamond Sect. The leading Diamond Sect disciple, Ma Fei, stared at the young girl and said with a smile, "Miss Ivan, it's only a matter of time before the 5 Sunset Mountain falls. I think you should submit to our Diamond Sect. Our Diamond Sect will soon unify the Yunluo Manor." The Sky Demon region was the largest region in the Nether Prison with more than 60 manors. Among them, the Yunluo Manor was one of the largest. If they could unify a manor, it was clear that the Diamond Sect was not weak. The young girl, Ivan, glared hatefully at the Diamond Sect disciple, Ma Fei, and said angrily, "Pei. You Diamond Sect dogs have submitted to the Devil Race's Night Soul Race, becoming the Devil Race's lackeys and harming the human race. You won't have a good ending." The Diamond Sect disciple, Ma Fei, sneered, "Since Miss Ivan doesn't know what's good for her, we have no choice but to be impolite." He signaled one of the Diamond Sect's experts to attack. The Diamond Sect's expert understood and leaped in front of the young girl, striking out with his palm. His right palm seemed to be coated with a thick layer of golden paint, emitting a golden light. A golden palm print flew out. The Diamond Sect's Diamond Divine Palm can split mountains and split the earth. Who is this person? He can actually practice the Diamond Sect's Diamond Divine Palm, and he has already cultivated it to the 7th stage. The young girl, Ivan, raised her palm to meet the attack. The two palms collided. The young girl, Ivan, was forced to take 3 steps back, and her expression changed. This Diamond Sect's expert had the same cultivation realm as her, early 10th layer Emperor realm, but he was so strong. At this time, the Diamond Sect's expert continued to attack. His golden palm force pierced through the air, and shockwaves swept out. The young girl, Ivan, dodged in a fluster, barely dodging. The palm force slammed into the ground, sending rocks flying. After the first attack, the Diamond Sect's expert continued to attack without stopping. After a series of attacks, the young girl, Ivan, was at a disadvantage, and it was only a matter of time before she was defeated. The surrounding crowd retreated far away, afraid that they would be hit by the shockwaves. Ivan was shocked and angry at the same time. Seeing this, the Diamond Sect's disciple, Ma Fei, said with a smile, "Miss Ivan's skin is soft and tender, go easy on her. Don't hurt her, especially the important parts of a woman." Several Diamond Sect's disciples laughed loudly. Some of the experts watching in the surroundings also laughed softly. Ivan's face flushed red with anger. At this time, she retreated to the edge of the crowd. The Diamond Sect's expert slammed his palm down, and seeing that Ivan couldn't dodge, a hand reached out from behind her, blocking the Diamond Sect's expert's palm. Chapter 165. Bang! The Diamond Sect's expert was sent flying back, crashing to the ground with blood spurting out from his mouth. It happened so suddenly that everyone was surprised. Even Ivan was stunned. She turned around and saw a handsome face. Lu Yiping was clad in a light blue robe with his hair casually draped over his shoulders. He exuded an aura that was hard to miss. Taurus Longjiao stood beside Lu Yiping, his muscular body resembling an iron tower. "It's you guys." Ivan was surprised and quickly retreated, distancing herself from Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. The Diamond Sect's disciple, Ma Fei, regained his senses. Looking at the Diamond Sect's expert, his face darkened. This diamond sex expert's meridians were shattered. Even if he was saved, he would be crippled. Ma Fei's gaze fell on Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Indifferent light flashed in his eyes as he asked, "Who are you?" Taurus Longjiao ignored Ma Fei's question. He looked at Ivan and smiled, "Little girl, so your name is Ivan." 5 Sunset Mountains. Ivan frowned, but she did not say anything. When they were at Buddha Venerable's tomb, she had misunderstood Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao as diamond sex disciples. But now, it seemed like they were not. Ma Fei's expression turned ugly when he saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao ignoring him. "You're King courting death." Another diamond sex disciple bellowed, his palm striking out at Taurus Longjiao. This diamond sex disciple was also using the diamond divine palm. However, his diamond divine palm shone brightly with golden light, resembling a diamond. It was clear that he had cultivated the diamond divine palm to the 9th stage, much stronger than the diamond sex disciple. However, the diamond sex disciple was sent flying by a backhand slap from Taurus Longjiao the moment he made his move. His body exploded into pieces in midair. The diamond sex Ma Fei and the others were stunned. The diamond sect was Cloud Luo Manor's strongest force. Moreover, everyone knew that the diamond sect was backed by the Night Soul clan. The Night Soul clan was one of the top 10 superpowers in the Nether Prison, and it was ranked 5th. Even 5 Cloud Mountains. Ivan was stunned. He never thought that Taurus Longjiao would kill a disciple of the King Kong sect. She recognized the disciple of the Guardian Deity sect. He was one of the core disciples of the Guardian Deity sect. Among the younger generation of the Guardian Deity sect, he was quite talented. He was already at the peak of the late 10th layer martial monarch realm, and was heavily nurtured by the Guardian Deity sect. He had a high chance of breaking through to the God Spirit realm and becoming a god. The Vajra sex disciple, Ma Fei, looked at Taurus Longjiao in shock and anger. "Do you know that he is my Vajra sex old ancestor Dai Wanjiang's in-name disciple?" Dai Wanjiang was a powerful patriarch of the Vajra sect. Even in the surrounding prefectures, he was extremely famous. "What about you?" Taurus Longjiao suddenly smiled and asked, "Which ancestor of the Vajra sect are you a disciple of?" Indifferent to Taurus Longjiao's mischievous smile, Ma Fei retorted, "My master is the Vajra sect chief. You injured my Vajra sect's core disciple, just wait for your clan to be annihilated." Just as Ma Fei finished speaking, Taurus Longjiao's palm slammed down, slamming Ma Fei into the ground. The remaining 3 Vajra sect disciples stared at Ma Fei's corpse on the ground in disbelief. 5 Cloud Mountains. Ivan and the other experts were dumbfounded. Ma Fei was a divine spirit realm expert and the Vajra sect's youngest disciple. Moreover, he was from the Ma family. "Which Vajra sect's old ancestor's disciple are you?" Taurus Longjiao looked at the remaining 3 Vajra sect disciples. The remaining 3 Vajra sect disciples trembled uncontrollably. Being able to follow Ma Fei around, their status in the Vajra sect was naturally not low. But when they heard Taurus Longjiao's question, their faces paled. The 3 of them leaped into the air, trying to flee. Just as the 3 of them flew into the air, countless rays of golden light shot out from the ground, piercing through the 3 of them. The 3 of them crashed to the ground, dead. "Let's go," Lu Yiping said nonchalantly. However, just as the 2 of them were about to leave, Ivan called out, "Wait a minute." He then ran over to Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, thanking them gratefully, "Thank you for just now." Lu Yiping shook his head, "No need, I also hate being the devil race's lackey and killing human race's disciples." Ivan asked, "Are you two also part of the human race?" Lu Yiping didn't know how to answer this question. For as long as he could remember, the Fortune Jade Disc had been with him. He had some guesses about his origin, but he couldn't be sure. "Are you two also here for the Saint Buddha Wheel?" Ivan asked after seeing Lu Yiping's silence. Saint Buddha Wheel. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were surprised. They remembered that Buddha Sovereign's weapon was the Saint Buddha Wheel. Some people say that the Saint Buddha wheel has appeared at the Sky Devil region's Scorpio Mountain. Ivan said, recently, many experts have come to the Sky Devil region, so the number of people in the Clearwind City has increased. Not far from the Clearwind City was the Scorpio Mountain. The Saint Buddha wheel you're talking about, is it the Saint Buddha wheel that Buddha's sovereign used in the past? Taurus Longjiao asked. Ivan nodded, yes, it's the Saint Buddha wheel that Lord Buddha sovereign used in the past. In the past, Buddha's sovereign had fought with the devil race's lord, causing mountains to crumble and the earth to split. Buddha's sovereign died, but his weapon, the Saint Buddha wheel, went missing. Countless years later, the Saint Buddha wheel's appearance attracted experts from all over the Netherworld prison to the Sky Devil region. I didn't expect the Saint Buddha wheel to appear. Taurus Longjiao sighed with emotion, then turned to Lu Yiping, Master, what do you think? Let's go to the Scorpio Mountain. Lu Yiping said solemnly. Ivan hesitated for a moment, then said that he wanted to go to the Scorpio Mountain with Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping nodded, he also wanted to ask Ivan about the Buddha dragon palm. Thus, the three of them left together. Experts from various forces retreated to the side. After Lu Yiping's group left, the crowd looked at Ma Fei and the others' corpses with complicated feelings. I heard that many experts from the Vajra sect came for the Saint Buddha wheel's appearance. I wonder if the Vajra sect's chief is here. A family's grand elder asked. The Vajra sect's chief and ancestor Dai Wanjiang seem to be here. Who are this pair of master and servant? They knew Ma Fei was the Vajra sect's chief's disciple, yet they still dared to kill him. The crowd discussed fervently. After Lu Yiping's group left, Lu Yiping asked Ivan about the Buddha dragon palm. Ivan hesitated for a moment before revealing the truth. It turned out that her grandfather had obtained Buddha's sovereign Saint Buddha jade by chance, and the jade contained the Buddha dragon palm's cultivation method. Where's your grandfather? Lu Yiping asked. My grandfather went missing several decades ago. Ivan shook his head, his expression dim. All these years, I've been looking for him. Then, his tone changed, that Ma Fei you killed, he wasn't just the Vajra sect's chief's disciple, he was also a disciple of the Ma family. You have to be careful. Is the Ma family very powerful? Lu Yiping asked with a smile. Ivan nodded seriously, the Ma family is one of the strongest families in our Sky Devil region, even stronger than the Vajra sect. Moreover, the Ma family's ancestor was from the Lifeless sect. Chapter 166. Oh, people from the Lifeless sect. This was out of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's expectations. Ivan nodded, the Ma family's ancestor is very strong. He is one of the four great ancestors of the Lifeless sect, an invincible character from the Heaven Battling era. So, an invincible character from the Heaven Battling era. Lu Yiping laughed. Ivan said, yes, but I heard that something big happened to the Lifeless sect recently. Many experts died. Something big happened. Of course, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao knew. During the Kunpeng Divine Sect's grand meeting, the two barefooted monsters of the Heaven Battling era had brought 200 world lords with them. Of course, these people were all shot by Lu Yiping like balls. The last meteor shower had blasted the Kunpeng Divine Sect's ancestral land full of holes. One of the four great ancestors of the Lifeless sect. Lu Yiping asked with a smile, do you know the two barefooted monsters of the Lifeless sect? How strong is he compared to the two barefooted monsters? Ivan was stunned, then he said solemnly, although the two barefooted monsters are terrifying, they were not crowned as the four great ancestors. Therefore, the Ma family's ancestor should be stronger. Lu Yiping grunted in agreement. We killed Ma Fei, it will be dangerous for you to stay with us. Aren't you afraid? Taurus Longjiao asked. Ivan shook his head, this matter started because of me, I can't just leave like this. The three of them chatted as they walked. Although Ivan had a fiery temper, he was frank and honest. The three of them left Clearwind City unknowingly. The night slowly darkened. Cold rain fell. Lu Yiping's group of 3 hid in a dilapidated manor and started a bonfire. Lu Yiping took out the Age of Eternity wine, and the fragrance of the wine filled the air. "Big brother Lu, what wine is that? It smells so good." Ivan stared at the Age of Eternity wine in Lu Yiping's hand. Lu Yiping laughed, "You like to drink too?" Ivan nodded, "I'm usually bored, so I like to drink." Lu Yiping took a jar and threw it to Ivan. Of course, not just anyone could drink his myriad eras wine. Grandpa Ivan had obtained Buddha Venerable's immortal Buddha Jade and learned Buddha Dragon Palm. He could be considered Buddha Venerable's successor. Most importantly, Lu Yiping found her pleasing to the eye. Ivan opened the bottle and immediately took a sip. After taking a gulp, a warm current surged through all the meridians in her body. She was shocked. "This wine is..." Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, "This is the everlasting wine, brewed with many good things." Ivan hurriedly put down the wine and said, "Big brother Lu, I can't accept this wine." He wanted to return the wine. Lu Yiping laughed. "You've already taken a sip. Don't tell me you're going to return it to me." Ivan's pretty face instantly turned red. "Take it. It's nothing precious," Lu Yiping said with a smile. Ivan hesitated for a moment before finally nodding and accepting it. The 3 of them drank and chatted. "Miss Ivan, how did your grandfather go missing?" Lu Yiping asked. Ivan hesitated for a moment, then said, 70 to 80 years ago, my grandfather, my master, and the Flame Lord entered the Devil Dragon graveyard. Later, my grandfather obtained the Absolute Heaven's inheritance." Absolute Heaven. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were shocked. Absolute Heaven was the supreme overlord of the heaven battling era. Ivan said solemnly, "I suspect that my grandfather's disappearance is related to this." "You're saying that your grandfather's disappearance is related to your master and the Flame Lord?" Lu Yiping asked. Ivan nodded. "My master is one of the ancestors of 5 Sunset Mountain. He and the Flame Lord are my grandfather's best friends. But recently, my master's behavior has been a little strange. He seems to be cultivating some kind of secret art." Ivan said. "You're saying that your master might be cultivating the Absolute Heaven's secret art?" Lu Yiping asked. Ivan said, "I'm suspicious of my master, and he seems to have sensed it. He seems to have killing intent towards me." Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao exchanged a glance. Suddenly, sounds of fighting came from afar. And it was getting closer and closer. Soon, the fighting reached the outside of the manor. A figure fell from the sky, smashing into the yard. It was a young man covered in blood. Ivan felt that the figure was familiar and jumped up, running out. When she saw the other party's face, she couldn't help calling out, "Yao Feng." This Yao Feng was a friend she had made many years ago when she was out on a mission. He was also a core disciple of the Yao family. She didn't have many good friends, and this Yao Feng was one of her best friends. Although Yao Feng was heavily injured, he was still breathing. Seeing that it was Ivan, he shouted in a hurry, "Ivan, run! Run! Where do you think you're running to?" At this time, a figure appeared in the air above the manor. Seeing the person, Ivan's face was filled with disbelief. Eldest senior brother. The person who came was her eldest senior brother, Liang Hongji. She didn't expect that the person pursuing her good friend Yao Feng would be her eldest senior brother. Liang Hongji floated down to the ground, treading on the rainwater as he walked towards Ivan and Yao Feng. He looked at Ivan and smiled, "Fifth junior sister, I didn't expect you to be here, what a coincidence." Yao Feng glared at Liang Hongji, then said to Ivan, "Ivan, run quickly, your eldest senior brother has a human face but a beast heart, he raped and killed your 5 Cloud Mountains junior sister Lin Sherluo. I found out, and now I want to silence him." Ivan's face tightened. Junior sister Lin Sherluo was the daughter of one of their 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elders. Liang Hongji's face sank. Slander. Yao Feng, it's you who has a human face but a beast heart. You raped and killed our 5 Cloud Mountains junior sister Lin Sherluo, and now you're slandering me. Junior sister Ivan, don't listen to his nonsense. I'm chasing this Yao Feng to capture him and bring him back to our 5 Cloud Mountain for punishment. Junior sister Ivan, please help me capture this Yao Feng and bring him back to the 5 Cloud Mountain. Hearing this, Yao Feng glared at Liang Hongji. Liang Hongji, I have a memory stone in my hand, it recorded the scene of you raping and killing Lin Sherluo. He took out a square stone as he said this. Liang Hongji's face tightened. Suddenly, his expression turned ferocious, the killing intent in his eyes intensified. The long sword in his hand slashed out, a shocking sword chi flew towards Ivan and Yao Feng. Clearly, this Liang Hongji wanted to silence Ivan as well. The shocking sword chi arrived in front of Ivan and Yao Feng in an instant. Just as the sword chi was about to hit them, it stopped abruptly, then dissipated. The three of them were dumbfounded. Liang Hongji's gaze fell on Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, bewildered. It's you too. At this time, several whistling sounds came from the distance. Several old men clad in 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elders' brocade robes soon arrived above the ruined manor. When they saw Liang Hongji and Ivan in the manor, they were surprised. Liang Hongji, Ivan, what are you two doing? One of the Grand Elders asked. Clearly, these people were also on their way to the Scorpio Mountain and were passing by this manor. Liang Hongji stepped forward, hurriedly saying, Grand Elder Li Zheng, you guys came at the right time. This person is called Yao Feng, he raped and killed our 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elder Su Li's daughter, junior sister Lin Sherluo. I found out and chased after this thief all the way here, but I didn't expect junior sister Ivan to be good friends with this thief. Not only did she refuse to help me capture this thief, she even obstructed me with 2 other people. Anger was written all over Liang Hongji's face as he pointed at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Chapter 167. What? Grand Elder Lin Sherluo's daughter was taken by this brat. 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elder Li Zheng was enraged hearing Yao Feng's words. Grand Elder Li Zheng, the culprit is actually my eldest senior brother. Ivan pointed at Liang Hongji angrily, my friend Yao Feng found out about his crime. Not only did he try to kill my friend, but he's also slandering my friend. Yao Feng added anxiously, I have a memory stone with me, it recorded what happened at that time. Shut up. Li Zheng glared at Ivan, Ivan, you actually colluded with outsiders to slander your eldest senior brother. You're still a 5 Cloud Mountain disciple. Colluding with outsiders to slander your fellow disciple, according to the sect's rules, this is a serious crime. Another Grand Elder reprimanded. Ivan tried to defend himself, Grand Elders, my friend really has a memory stone. You still don't know how to repent, still siding with outsiders. Li Zheng was enraged, the long sword in his hand vibrated, sending out layers of sword chi at Ivan and Yao Feng. I'm going to capture both of you and interrogate you right now. Ivan and Yao Feng's faces tightened as they felt the terrifying power of a true God Realm expert sword chi. However, just as Li Zheng's sword chi was about to reach Ivan and Yao Feng, he suddenly stopped as if he was hit by an invisible force, falling from the sky. The sword chi dissipated. Everyone was stunned. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao stood up and walked out. Who are you? Several 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elders looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao with suspicion. Ivan regained his senses, explaining to the 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elders, this is my friend's memory stone. If Grand Elders don't believe me, you can check the records inside. Give me the memory stone, I'll take a look. One of the Grand Elders said. Ivan's face lit up as he passed the memory stone in Yao Feng's hand to the Grand Elder. However, the moment the Grand Elder received the memory stone, energy surged out from his hand, shattering the memory stone before he could check it. Ivan was furious. Why? Lu Yiping shook his head inwardly. Ivan was still too naive. Even now, she still couldn't tell that the 5 Cloud Mountains Grand Elders were siding with Liang Hongji. Liang Hongji's relationship with these 5 Cloud Mountains Supreme Elders should be pretty good. The truth did not matter to them. Liang Hongji was a core disciple of the 5 Cloud Mountain. If news of him raping and killing a fellow disciple got out, it wouldn't be good for the 5 Cloud Mountain. Therefore, even if they knew that the murderer was really Liang Hongji, they would still choose to play dumb. After the Grand Elder destroyed the memory stone, he said indifferent, "The memory stone has no memory at all. It is just a blank memory stone. You have been deceived by this person." Then, he said, "Ivan, if you continue to be stubborn, don't blame us for carrying out the sect's rules and crippling your cultivation. Then, we'll bring you back to the sect for punishment." Ivan was furious. Lu Yiping looked at Li Zheng and the others, saying indifferent, "You knew the truth, yet you covered it up. You knew the murderer was here, yet you sided with him. Scum like you all deserve to die." With a flick of his finger, Li Zheng and the others turned into a mist of blood, including Liang Hongji. Ivan was dumbfounded. Initially, she thought that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were only in the divine spirit realm since they killed the Vajra sect's Ma Fei and the others. She didn't expect them to be able to kill Li Zheng and the others who were in the true God realm with a flick of their fingers. Heavenly God realm experts. Then, Lu Yiping gave Yao Feng a medicinal pellet. Yao Feng's injuries healed in a short time. Yao Feng bowed to Lu Yiping to express his gratitude, then told him the whole story of Liang Hongji's death. When Ivan heard that her sex Lin Shiluo was killed by Liang Hongji because he found out that Liang Hongji and her master, Qian Sun, had submitted to the Vajra sect, she was stunned. "You're saying that my master has submitted to the Vajra sect?" Ivan asked Yao Feng. She still found it hard to believe. Her master was an orphan who was adopted by the 5 Sunset Mountains founder and taught her cultivation techniques. The 5 Sunset Mountains founder's kindness was as great as a mountain. She refused to believe that her master would betray the 5 Sunset Mountain. Yao Feng nodded, "It's true. Moreover, it's not just your master and eldest senior brother, many of your 5 Sunset Mountains ancestors, Grand Elders, and Elders have submitted to the Vajra sect and Night Soul race. Perhaps, those Grand Elders have already submitted to the Vajra sect and Night Soul race." Ivan was dumbfounded, unable to speak for a long time. Bored, the Dragon Horn Golden Bull took out the Kuanping Divine Sect's Kuanping Divine Beast and played with it. Of course, this Kuanping Divine Beast that was half the size of the Kuanping Divine Sect had shrunk to the size of a palm due to Taurus Longjiao's law of space. In Taurus Longjiao's hand, it looked like a small fish. After playing with it for a while, Taurus Longjiao suddenly asked, "Master, do you think this little Kuanping knows where the Kuanping founder went to after he came to the Netherworld prison?" Lu Yiping said solemnly, "Go ahead and ask." When the Kuanping Divine Sect was founded, its guardian divine beast was the Kuanping. However, the Kuanping in front of them was not the ancient divine beast, but a descendant of the ancient divine beast. Then again, it might know something about the Kuanping divine beast. Taurus Longjiao grabbed the Kuanping's tail and flung it to the ground, causing the ground to tremble. After the Kuanping became dizzy, he asked, "Let me ask you, do you know where the Kuanping founder went to after he came to the Netherworld prison?" The Kuanping was dizzy from being flung to the ground. Looking at Taurus Longjiao's murderous gaze, it trembled in fear and answered, "I heard my old ancestor talk about some things. When he followed the Kuanping founder to the Netherworld prison, he seemed to have gone to the 5 Clouds Mountain, Saint Royal City, and the 4 Directions Sea." Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were surprised. 5 Clouds Mountain. Who would have thought that the Kuanping founder went to the 5 Clouds Mountain? Ivan looked at the Kuanping in Taurus Longjiao's hand and said, "This little fish said that the Kuanping founder went to our 5 Clouds Mountain." Yao Feng looked at the little fish in Taurus Longjiao's hand and was also surprised. Wasn't the Kuanping founder a legendary figure from more than 1,000,000 years ago? The dragon-horn golden bull grabbed the mythical beast Kuan Peng's tail and slammed it against the ground. The mythical beast Kuan Peng's eyes were brimming with tears as it said, "Master Xiao Jin, I told you everything." "I know." Taurus Longjiao said. The Kuan Peng rolled its eyes. Then, Taurus Longjiao asked the Kuan Peng a few more things. However, the Kuan Peng only remembered that his old ancestor said that the Kuan Peng founder went to these three places: Five Clouds Mountain, Saint Royal City, and Four Directions Sea. Lu Yiping muttered to himself. The Five Clouds Mountain was undoubtedly Ivan's sect, the Five Clouds Mountain. However, in the ancient times, the Five Clouds Mountain was just a mountain range. There was no Five Clouds Mountain as a sect. The Five Clouds Mountain was founded 100,000 years ago. The Saint Royal City was the holy land of the human race. As for the Four Directions Sea, it was where the Demon Dragon Palace was located. The Demon Dragon Palace was the most powerful force in the Netherworld prison. Chapter 168. In the Nether prison, the Demon Dragon Palace's forces were spread all over the territories. They had countless heavenly gods under their command, and each territory had 2 overlords. Some of the more important branches had more than 2 overlords. The Heavenly Demon region alone had more than 60 territories. In other words, the Demon Dragon Palace had more than 100 overlords in the Heavenly Demon region. And the Nether prison had more than 30 territories. This did not include the overlords and overlords in the Nether prison's headquarters. Although the Lifeless Sect and Night Soul Clan were also the overlords of the Nether prison, they were far inferior to the Demon Dragon Palace. Although the Lifeless Sect was ranked 3rd in the Nether prison, their strength was less than 1/10 of the Demon Dragon Palace's. "Are you going to the Scorpio Mountain?" Yao Feng suddenly asked. Ivan nodded. "I heard that not only the Night Soul Clan, but also the Heaven Battling City." Yao Feng said. "What? Heaven Battling City?" Ivan was shocked. Before the Holy Demon Realm, Qi Zhantian had dominated the Eternal Prime Era. The Holy Demon Realm did not have a family or descendants, but Qi Zhantian did. Not only did Qi Zhantian have a family, but he also had descendants. Heaven Battling City was where Qi Zhantian's family was located. Heaven Battling City was not one of the top 10 forces in the Nether prison, but it was a transcendent existence. Even though Qi Zhantian had left the Nether prison, Heaven Battling City was still a supreme existence that deterred the Nether prison. No one dared to ignore Heaven Battling City, not even the Demon Dragon Palace. "Oh, Heaven Battling City also wants to snatch the Saint Buddha wheel?" Lu Yiping asked calmly. "Yes, Qi Ao Shi came from Heaven Battling City," Yao Feng said. Qi Ao Shi. Ivan was shocked. "Is this Qi Ao Shi very strong?" Taurus Longjiao asked when he saw Ivan's expression. Both Ivan and Yao Feng were stunned. Lord Xiao Jin doesn't know Qi Ao Shi. Ivan had a strange look in his eyes, and then he said, "Qi Ao Shi is Lord Qi Zhantian's grandson. Moreover, he's the one with the greatest talent and combat strength. Lord Qi Ao Shi is also the one with the strongest talent in the Nether prison. Like Lord War Sky, he was born with one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines. Lord War Sky has one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines, the Thunder Transformation bloodline, while Lord Qi Ao Shi has one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines, the Flying Heaven bloodline." Ivan said with reverence. Lord Qi Ao Shi's current cultivation is already at the peak of the late stage of the Master of the Plane. I heard that his planar energy has already reached 99,990,000, and he can break through to the Master of the Plane at any time. He's stronger than many of the overlords of the Heaven Battling Era. The more Ivan spoke, the more excited he became. Yao Feng also said excitedly, "Lord Qi Ao Shi will definitely break through to the Plane Master realm within 10 years. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were surprised. The two of them were surprised by Qi Ao Shi's strength, but they were surprised by Qi Ao Shi's 10 ancient bloodlines. The top 10 ancient bloodlines were quite powerful. Those with the soaring heavens bloodline were far faster than experts of the same realm. Moreover, all 10 ancient bloodlines had heaven's mandate secret arts. The sky gradually brightened. The rain had stopped a long time ago. Lu Yiping continued on his way. However, Ivan and Yao Feng were aware that they were too weak and had no hope of snatching the holy Buddha wheel. Therefore, they did not follow Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao to the Scorpio Mountain. They temporarily separated from Lu Yiping and Yao Feng. Lu Yiping and Ivan agreed to meet at the Wind Sea City near the Five Sunset Mountain. Not long after, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived at the Scorpio Mountain. When the two of them arrived at Scorpio Mountain, it was packed with people. Every mountain peak of Scorpio Mountain was packed with people. The Holy Buddha wheel appeared the day before yesterday and yesterday, but it disappeared in a flash. It should appear again today. Even the Night Soul Race and Heaven Battling Cities people are here. Even if the Holy Buddha wheel appears again, we have no hope of snatching it. Let's put away those thoughts. The experts on the mountain peaks whispered to each other. Some shook their heads when they heard that the Night Soul Race and Heaven Battling Cities experts were coming. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao also arrived at an inconspicuous mountain peak. The two of them had just arrived at the peak when they saw a large group of experts in golden robes flying over from the horizon. It's the Vajra sect master. So many ancestors from the Vajra sect came. The Vajra sect was the biggest force in the Sky Demon region's Yunluo manor. Their arrival caused quite a commotion. They're just the Night Soul Race's lackeys. Some human experts were disgusted. The human race and the demon race had always been at odds. Now that the Vajra sect, as a human sect, had submitted to the Night Soul Race, many human experts felt ashamed. I heard that someone killed the Vajra sect master's youngest disciple, Ma Fei. It can't be, right? I heard about it too. Dai Wanjiang's in-name disciple was also killed. Dai Wanjiang declared that he would grind the master and servant's bones to dust. I wonder if the master and servant pair are here. Amidst the discussions, the Vajra sect experts soon arrived at the scene. This time, the Vajra sect had sent 13 Vajra sect experts. Other than the 13 Vajra sect experts, there were also close to 100 heavenly gods. When the Vajra sect master Jing Yuan arrived, he scanned the experts present and said, "It seems like Lord Yizimo and Lord Ma Xilai are not here yet. Let's find a place to wait for Lord Yizimo and Lord Ma Xilai." Dai Wanjiang suggested. Jing Yuan nodded. Suddenly, an expert stepped forward and saluted Jing Yuan respectfully. He stopped in front of Jing Yuan and pointed in the direction of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. They are the master and servant pair from the Vajra sect. Jing Yuan looked in the direction of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. His eyes were brimming with killing intent. Indifferent, Dai Wanjiang said, "I'll do it myself later." He had said that he would grind the master and servant's bones to dust. Just as Jing Yuan and the others were about to fly towards Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, they suddenly saw a large group of experts approaching from afar. They stopped in their tracks. The newcomers were clad in black robes and devil chi was rolling around their bodies. They were the Night Soul Race's experts. Other than the Night Soul Race, there were also experts from the Ma family. The Night Soul Race and Ma family came together. Jing Yuan, Dai Wanjiang, and the others quickly went up to greet them. "Greetings, Lord Yizimo and Lord Ma Xilai." Jing Yuan, Dai Wanjiang, and the rest of the Vajra sect experts quickly bowed. Devil chi was rolling around Yizimo's body. He wore a hat that covered half of his face and his eyes were burning with green flames. He grunted in acknowledgement, but no one could see his expression. Ma Xilai was a fatty. He smiled and said, "Sect Master Zheng, with the friendship between our families, there's no need for such formalities." He then helped Jing Yuan up. Yizimo glanced at the experts on the various mountains and said, haven't the people from Heaven Battling City arrived yet? Not yet, Jing Yuan said hurriedly. Yi Zimo soared into the air and flew towards the top of the largest mountain. The Night Soul Race, Ma Family, Vajra Zhongzhong, and the rest of the experts followed him. The experts who were originally standing on the top of the mountain hurriedly flew away to make space for Yi Zimo and the others. When they arrived at the top of the mountain and landed, Jing Yuan hesitated for a moment and said, Lord Yi Zimo, Lord Ma Xilai, my disciple Ma Fei was killed yesterday. The murderer is here too. Oh, where is the murderer? Ma Xilai's face darkened when he heard this. Ma Fei was a disciple of the Ma family and his grandnephew. Chapter 169. It's that pair of master and servant. Jing Yuan pointed at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao who were standing on top of the mountain. Ma Xilai's gaze turned frosty. How dare they kill my Ma family's disciples? Have you found out where they came from? Jing Yuan hurriedly answered, not yet, but I don't think they're from our Sky Devil region. Yi Zimo's voice was cold, who cares where they came from, just kill them. When we find out the families and sects behind them, we'll wipe them all out. Ma Xilai nodded, then said to Jing Yuan and Dai Wanjiang, go, bring me their heads. He then added, when you make your move, don't kill them in one go. Yes, please rest assured, Lord Ma Xilai. Jing Yuan, Dai Wanjiang, and the rest replied respectfully. The two of them led the Vajra sect's experts and flew towards Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Seeing this, the surrounding people couldn't help but turn to look at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. In the blink of an eye, Jing Yuan, Dai Wanjiang, and the rest of the Vajra sect's experts arrived at the mountain peak where Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were. Seeing Jing Yuan, Dai Wanjiang, and the rest of the Vajra sect's experts approaching, Taurus Longjiao took out the mythical beast Kuanpeng. Holding the mythical beast Kuanpeng in his right hand as if he was playing a baseball, he slapped his left palm repeatedly as if he was playing a baseball. Jing Yuan, Dai Wanjiang, and the rest looked at the fish in Taurus Longjiao's hand in confusion. What the hell was this muscular man doing with a small fish? Are you the ones who killed my disciple Ma Fei? Indifferent, Jing Yuan asked. Why are you wasting your breath on them? Dai Wanjiang snorted coldly, his palm striking out at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. World energy surged, covering the sky and earth. Dai Wanjiang was a planar lord, and his planar power had already reached more than 2 million units. However, just as Dai Wanjiang made his move, the Kuanpeng in Taurus Longjiao's hand suddenly grew many times larger, to the size of a small mountain. Taurus Longjiao swung the Kuanpeng like a baseball. When the Taurus Longjiao swung out, a terrifying sound wave roared out. Before Dai Wanjiang could react, he was hit in an instant. Suddenly, he felt as if he had been hit by an invincible giant. By the time King Kong Zhongzhong reacted, the place where Dai Wanjiang had been standing was already empty. Dai Wanjiang had disappeared without a trace. Everyone looked around, but Dai Wanjiang was nowhere to be seen. Not only were those from the Vajra sect dumbfounded, but even the powerhouses in the surroundings were dumbfounded. Yi Zimo and Ma Xilai were also dumbfounded. The two of them spread out their divine souls, but they actually couldn't sense Dai Wanjiang's aura. The Scorpio mountain quieted down. Wherever the Kuanpeng swung, the sound waves were still rolling, sweeping over one mountain after another. Taurus Longjiao retrieved the Kuanpeng from where Dai Wanjiang was standing. Then, he swung again, and the sound wave once again resounded through the Scorpio mountain. Immediately, the Vajra sect master disappeared without a trace. In the distant horizon, a group of powerhouses was flying towards the Scorpio mountain. Suddenly, they saw a figure shooting over with a terrifying sound wave, and they were so scared that they dodged in panic. Everyone barely dodged, and the sound wave brushed past them. The group of powerhouses only felt a chill down their backs, and they were still in shock. The person who just passed by seems to be the Vajra sect master. One of them gulped. You must have seen wrongly. Saw wrongly? Maybe I saw wrongly. Everyone continued to fly towards the Scorpio Mountain. However, they had only taken a few steps when they saw another figure shooting over with a rumbling sound wave. Everyone dodged in fear again. Is that the Vajra sect's ancestor, Dai Fei? This time, many people saw it. Meanwhile, on the Scorpio Mountain, Taurus Longjiao kept swinging the Kunpeng. Taurus Longjiao was extremely fast, one after another. By the time the Vajra Zhongzhong powerhouses reacted, the 7 people on the ground had already disappeared. All the Vajra sect powerhouses reacted, looking at Taurus Longjiao in horror, and fled in panic. Seeing the Vajra Zhongzhong powerhouses fleeing in all directions, Taurus Longjiao chuckled. The Kunpeng in his hand grew many times larger, becoming the size of a mountain, and swept over. The 100 or so Vajra sect powerhouses who were fleeing were all swept up, and not a single one was left out. The Kunpeng in Taurus Longjiao's hand kept shrinking, returning to the size of a palm. In the distance, the Night Soul Race, Ma family, and the surrounding major forces all looked at the small fish in Taurus Longjiao's hand that was stiff like a corpse. That small fish seems to be the Kunpeng. One of the Ma family's patriarchs was tongue-tied. At first, no one could recognize it. However, when Taurus Longjiao turned the Kunpeng into the size of a mountain, everyone finally saw the outline of the Kunpeng. The Kunpeng. It can't be the one from the Kunpeng divine sect, right? One of the Night Soul Race's patriarchs stuttered. In the entire Hengyuan plain, only the Jyotian Kunpeng divine sect had a Kunpeng. No other sects had one. Yizimo and Ma Shilai were shocked. The one from the Kunpeng divine sect. Then this blue-robed youth was the Saint Devil's master, Lu Yiping. Yizimo's voice trembled. The Saint Devil's master, Lu Yiping. The Night Soul Races and Ma family's powerhouses' expressions changed drastically. In the battle of the Kunpeng divine sect, Lu Yiping defeated them. At the same time, Lu Yiping's identity as the Saint Devil's master was exposed. Therefore, Lu Yiping, the ancestor of thunder punishment, now had another title, the Saint Devil's master. Lu Yiping suddenly looked over and looked at the Night Soul Races and Ma family's powerhouses. While the Night Soul Races and Ma family's powerhouses were terrified, Lu Yiping grabbed Yizimo and Ma Shilai with one hand and pulled them in front of him. Lu Yiping looked at Yizimo. Did you just say that you're going to kill me and then destroy my family and sect? Yizimo, who was originally surrounded by demonic energy and wearing a black hat that covered half of his face, had his demonic energy dissipated. Even the hat on his head was nowhere to be seen, revealing his old and wrinkled face. His eyes were filled with fear. Lord Lu, I didn't know it was you. Spare me. There were tears in his eyes. Yizimo of the Night Soul Race, who was comparable to the lightning ancestor, Lei Yu, had tears in his eyes. As for Ma Shilai, he stood there motionless, as if he was frozen. Spare my life. Lu Yiping's voice was cold. If I was weak, would you spare me? After he finished speaking, he pointed a finger in the air. Various kinds of divine lightning rained down from the sky like a violent river. Yizimo, Ma Shilai, and the Night Soul Races and Ma family's powerhouses were all drowned by the divine lightning. When the divine lightning dissipated, the Night Soul Races and Ma family's powerhouses had all disappeared without a trace. At this moment, a huge war chariot appeared in the distant sky. On the body of the war chariot, the words, "Heaven Battling," were written. The words, "Heaven Battling," shone brightly, filled with the might of Heaven Battling. The people of Heaven Battling City had finally arrived. On the huge war chariot sat a young man with an imposing appearance. Behind the huge war chariot, there was a group of Heaven Battling City's powerhouses riding on nine-eyed black tigers. Chapter 170. Everyone was shocked by the disappearance of the Night Soul Race and Ma family's experts. When they saw the war chariot, their spirits were lifted. Battle Sky Divine War Chariot. Lord Battle Sky's War Chariot. Someone exclaimed. When the crowd saw that Chi-Ao Shi had actually arrived in the heaven-fighting divine carriage, they were all boiling with excitement. The Battle Sky Divine War Chariot was extraordinary. In the past, Qi Zhantian had driven this war chariot to flatten the Netherworld prison, the Jiutian, and the Divine Land. Wherever it passed, the gods retreated. The heaven-battling divine chariot was stained with the blood of countless planar lords and even planar masters. Many experts fell to their knees in excitement when they saw Chi-Ao Shi riding the war chariot. In the blink of an eye, the war chariot arrived in front of everyone. Chi-Ao Shi sat on the war chariot with a disdainful look in his eyes. Golden rings appeared behind him, and his aura suppressed the heavens. He scanned the scene, but didn't see any experts from the Night Soul race or Ma family. He was puzzled. Didn't they say that the Night Soul race and Ma family's experts are here? Are they not here yet? One of the Qi family's experts laughed. Maybe Yi Zimo and Ma Xilai left because they knew that it was impossible for them to snatch the divine Buddha wheel. Chi-Ao Shi was puzzled. Was that so? Just as he was about to ask the experts around him, a ray of Buddhist light shot into the sky from the mountain range in front of him. The Buddhist light spun and illuminated the sky like a crescent moon. Everyone turned their heads to look at him. It's the divine Buddha wheel. The divine Buddha wheel has appeared again. Chi-Ao Shi's face lit up with joy. He immediately drove the war chariot, turning into a blur as he rushed towards the Buddhist light. However, when he rushed over, the Buddhist light vibrated, and a huge Buddhist wheel broke out from the ground. It turned into a ray of golden light and fell into Lu Yiping's hand. Chi-Ao Shi stopped and looked at the divine Buddha wheel. He was stunned for a moment. Wasn't it said that the divine Buddha wheel was extremely difficult to obtain? Why did it fly into the hands of this blue-robed young man? The Qi family's experts were also stunned. A Qi family ancestor couldn't help stepping forward and said to Lu Yiping, "Young man, this Saint Buddha will belongs to my heaven-battling city's Qi family, hand it over." Hearing this, Lu Yiping smiled. Everyone in this world knows that the Saint Buddha will belongs to Venerable Buddha, so how did it end up in your heaven-battling city's Qi family's possession? The Qi family's ancestor's face turned red. The other Qi family ancestor's face sank. The Saint Buddha wheel is a supreme treasure of Buddhism, not everyone is qualified to possess it. Moreover, you won't be able to unleash its full power in your hands, that's a disgrace to the Saint Buddha wheel. Lu Yiping smiled and said, "You mean to say that this Saint Buddha wheel can only display its power if it falls into the hands of heaven-battling city? Only by falling into the hands of Chi-Ao Shi would he not disgrace it?" Chi-Ao Shi frowned. Not bad. The first Qi ancestor said, "Our young lord has one of the top 10 ancient bloodlines, the soaring celestial bloodline. He is the most talented person in the world right now. Only someone like our young lord with the soaring celestial bloodline can utilize its power." Another Qi family ancestor said, "Why haven't you handed over the Saint Buddha wheel yet?" Chi-Ao Shi looked at Lu Yiping and said, "Hand over the Saint Buddha wheel, and I can compensate you with a divine artifact." Then, with a wave of his hand, a dozen or so acquired spirit treasures appeared in front of him. All of them were low-grade acquired spirit treasures. No matter what, he had to get the Saint Buddha wheel. He cultivated a Buddhist cultivation technique, and if he had the Saint Buddha wheel, his battle strength would soar. Moreover, with the help of the Saint Buddha Qi inside the Saint Buddha wheel, his cultivation speed would increase greatly in the future. Taurus Longjiao looked at the dozen acquired spirit treasures and grinned, "You want to compensate us with this trash? Fuck off, seeing that you're Qi Zhan Tian's descendant, I won't kill you." When Chi-Ao Shi heard Taurus Longjiao telling him to fuck off, he couldn't help but be stunned. After so many years, who had ever told him to fuck off? No one. You don't know when to stop, you're courting death. When the ancestor heard Taurus Longjiao telling his young lord to fuck off, he couldn't help but be enraged. He suddenly punched towards Taurus Longjiao. Just as he was about to attack, he saw a small fish appear in Taurus Longjiao's hand. Seeing the small fish in Taurus Longjiao's hand, the surrounding experts were so frightened that their faces changed. It was as if they had seen something terrifying, and they hurriedly retreated, hiding far away. The Qi family ancestor noticed the reactions of the surrounding experts, and couldn't help but be puzzled. At this time, he saw the small fish in Taurus Longjiao's hand suddenly grow to the size of a small mountain. Then, he saw Taurus Longjiao make a gesture of waving. Finally, he waved. The terrifying sound wave that caused everyone to have nightmares rang out again. Dong! The Qi family ancestor instantly lost consciousness. When the experts of the Qi family reacted, they saw that the mid-stage realm lord of the Qi family ancestor had disappeared without a trace. Qi Aoshi, who was on the war chariot, was also shocked. Taurus Longjiao retracted the Kunpeng in his hand. He looked at Qi Aoshi and said, "Kid, make your move. Let me see how much of your Skysoar bloodline has awakened." Qi Aoshi looked at the Kunpeng in Taurus Longjiao's hand in shock. Just now, the Kunpeng in Taurus Longjiao's hand had grown in size, and now it had returned to the size of a palm. It was too fast, and he couldn't see the Kunpeng's appearance clearly. He stared at Taurus Longjiao and said, "In that case, I'll have to ask for your advice." After saying that, he didn't get off the war chariot. Layers of divine light rose, and golden Buddha rings spread out like ripples. Within the golden Buddha rings, there was a shocking power of lightning. It's the heavenly tribulation Buddhist art. Lord Qi Aoshi really did obtain the heavenly tribulation Buddha's peerless inheritance. An ancestor said in shock. There were a total of 17 eras in the 200,000 years of the late ancient era. Before the heavenly war era, there were 16 eras in the late ancient era. The heavenly tribulation Buddha was the strongest expert in the heavenly tribulation era, for eras before the heavenly war era. When Qi Aoshi circulated the heavenly tribulation Buddha technique to the extreme, the sky changed color, thunder rumbled, and thunder rumbled in the sky. At the same time, the sky was filled with Buddha shadows. Obviously, he had cultivated the heavenly tribulation Buddha technique to an extremely high level. Heavenly tribulation Buddha technique, heavenly tribulation palm. 10,000 Buddhas exterminate demons. Qi Aoshi's voice resounded through the world. He circulated the power of 99,999,000 battle planes and slapped down on Taurus Longjiao. Suddenly, the sound of Buddha resounded through the world, and a terrifying lightning palm with layers of Buddha light slapped down on Taurus Longjiao. Feeling Qi Aoshi's palm that could destroy the heavens and earth, the group of patriarchs were all overwhelmed with shock. Terrifying. This palm is comparable to the power of a plain master. The heavenly tribulation Buddha technique is indeed powerful. When Taurus Longjiao saw that Qi Aoshi didn't even get off the war chariot and directly attacked, he grinned. The Kunpeng in his hand grew bigger and bigger, until it was half the size of the Kunpeng divine sect. The world instantly darkened. Qi Aoshi raised his head and looked at the boundless Kunpeng. He was stunned. What the F***ck is this? Chapter 171. In Qi Aoshi's shock, the Kunpeng divine beast swung down, and the heavenly tribulation Buddha palm was instantly blown apart. When the experts of Heaven Battling City saw the Kunpeng divine beast that blotted out the sky and swung its claws at them, they were so frightened that they forgot to flee. Qi Aoshi instantly woke up. He was so scared that he fully activated the power of the Heaven Battling Divine Chariot. The Heaven Battling Divine Chariot shone brightly. The power of the array formed layers of defensive halos. Qi Aoshi pushed the Flying Heaven's bloodline to the limit. Flying Heaven escape! He roared. He shot out from the chariot and frantically fled. The Flying Heaven's bloodline was one of the top 10 ancient bloodlines. Its speed was astonishing. The Flying Heaven escape was the Flying Heaven's bloodline's heavenly fate secret art. Once he used this Flying Heaven escape, even a plain master would find it difficult to catch up to him. Chi-Ao Shi's figure suddenly disappeared from the chariot. At this moment, the Kunpeng divine beast swung over. The heaven-battling divine chariot's layers of defensive halos exploded. Then, the Kunpeng divine beast smashed onto the chariot with unstoppable momentum. The entire heaven-battling divine chariot was sent flying. It flew high in the sky. The Kunpeng divine beast swung across the sky. Chi-Ao Shi, who had already disappeared, fell from the depths of the void. He fell from the depths of the void. He turned pale with fright as he looked at the Kunpeng divine beast that continued to sweep over. Amidst his panic, the power in his body rose to the limit, and a raging golden flame rose from his body. Heaven battling art. Heaven battling art is invincible. The surrounding ancestors exclaimed. Chi-Ao Shi's invincible belief that he could fight against the heavens and the earth arose spontaneously. When the heaven battling art was activated, Chi-Ao Shi's eyes also emitted golden flames, as if he was an invincible golden flame war god. His aura rose crazily, breaking through the peak of the late-stage plane master and reaching the plane master level. Chi-Ao Shi was not a plane master, but at this moment, he had the power of a plane master. Heaven battling. Battlefield. Battle gods. Chi-Ao Shi's voice was cold as he suddenly punched out with both fists. Boom. Heaven and earth shook. Two huge fist imprints flew out. Moreover, the fist print was getting bigger and bigger as it flew towards the divine beast Kunpeng. Seeing this, Taurus Longjiao said, "Fight your mother." The Kunpeng in his hand did not stop and collided with the two huge fists. When Chi-Ao Shi heard Taurus Longjiao's words, his eyes widened. He remembered that his father had said that his grandfather's catchphrase was to fight your mother. Was this golden-haired brawny man's catchphrase also, fight your mother? There was a loud bang. The huge fist instantly collapsed, and the Kunpeng continued to attack. Even though Chi-Ao Shi already had the power of a plane master, he couldn't stop the Kunpeng. A loud explosion rang out. Chi-Ao Shi was unable to dodge and was sent flying by the Kunpeng. The experts of Heaven Battling City were also swept away by the Kunpeng divine beast. Chi-Ao Shi and the other experts from Heaven Battling City were smashed into the surrounding mountains. One mountain after another collapsed with a loud rumble. Mountain rocks rolled down. Dust filled the air. The sky-battling divine chariot that had been sent flying by the divine beast Kunpeng also fell from the sky and smashed into a mountain. The ground trembled. The experts who were hiding far away were stunned. Chi-Ao Shi, who had used the heaven-battling art, had the power of a plane master, and fully activated the sky-battling divine chariot array, still couldn't block Taurus Longjiao's attack. Lu Yiping held the immortal Buddha wheel and looked at the runes on it. He didn't look at the battle just now, nor did he look at the sky-battling divine chariot that had been sent flying. He also didn't look at Chi-Ao Shi, who was smashed into the mountain. "It's been hard on you all these years," Lu Yiping said to the immortal Buddha wheel. The immortal Buddha wheel buzzed, and Buddhist light spread out, as if it was responding to Lu Yiping. Some experts in the distance saw this and couldn't help but be stunned. Didn't Lu Yiping just obtain the immortal Buddha wheel? He hadn't even refined it, so how could he already communicate with it? After a long time, the rocks finally stopped rolling. The dust started to settle. A figure flew out from the depths of the mountain. It was Chi-Ao Shi, who had been sent flying. Chi-Ao Shi's divine armor was shattered beyond recognition, and the corner of his mouth and chest were covered in blood. He looked at Taurus Longjiao in horror, and fear filled the depths of his eyes. "How do you know my grandfather's catchphrase?" He couldn't help but ask Taurus Longjiao. He didn't believe that this was a coincidence. Only his father and he knew his grandfather's catchphrase. No one knew. "Your grandfather's catchphrase?" Taurus Longjiao said, "Who told you that it's your grandfather's catchphrase? Wasn't it?" Chi-Ao Shi was stunned. Do you know why the experts of the Night Soul race, Ma family, and Vajra sect disappeared? Taurus Longjiao chuckled. Chi Ao sure swallowed hard. Could it be that the experts of the Night Soul race and Ma family didn't leave on their own? Taurus Longjiao waved the Kuan Peng in his hand. It feels good today. Only then did he recall the Kuan Peng. Chi Ao sure retracted his gaze from the Kuan Peng and stared at Lu Yiping. Are you the holy devil master Lu Yiping? Lu Yiping waved the Saint Buddha wheel in his hand, and the crescent-shaped Saint Buddha wheel sliced the sky into pieces. Chi Ao sure and the other experts of the Chi family who had just woken up felt a chill run down their spines. Lu Yiping looked at the experts of the Chi family with an indifferent expression. Did you think that I'm not qualified to have the Saint Buddha wheel? That I can't unleash the power of the Saint Buddha wheel? At this time, Lu Yiping threw the immortal Buddha wheel into the air. It soared into the 9 heavens and continued to expand. In the end, it grew to the size of an ancient city. The immortal Buddha light illuminated the world. Under the light, the darkness receded and the coldness was chased away. Sounds of Buddha and Sanskrit rang out from within the Saint Buddha wheel. Golden Buddhas could be seen faintly. Chi Ao sure felt the space around him sink, and it was as if golden Buddhas were pressing down on him from the sky. The experts of the Chi family and other experts were unable to move. Everyone was shocked. Was this the power of the Saint Buddha wheel? If the Saint Buddha wheel's pressure was this strong, how terrifying would it be if it was used to attack? Chi Ao sure's Buddha wheel expanded, and it was clear that he was using his heavenly tribulation Buddhist art to resist the Saint Buddha wheel's pressure. The Saint Buddha wheel shone brightly, and Chi Ao sure was forced to the ground. The Buddha wheel shattered. The terrifying pressure continued to press down on him. Chi Ao sure felt as if all the bones in his body were going to shatter. Just as Chi Ao sure thought that he was going to die, the pressure on him disappeared, and the Saint Buddha wheel returned to Lu Yiping's hand. Lu Yiping looked at Chi Ao sure. You should be glad that you're little Chi's grandson. However, if this happens again, even little Chi won't be able to save you if he returns from a higher realm. With that said, he left with Taurus Longjiao. When Lu Yiping left, the mountain peak that was illuminated by the Saint Buddha wheel's light suddenly collapsed. Chi Ao sure was dumbfounded, and he didn't move for a long time. What did Lu Yiping call his grandfather? Little Chi. From his tone, it seemed like he knew his grandfather. Could it be that Lu Yiping was his grandfather's good friend? Chapter 172. Chi Ao sure looked at the direction Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao had left with a gloomy expression. Even if Lu Yiping was a Saint Devil Master, he should be of the same generation as his grandfather, but now he was calling his grandfather Shao Chi. Young Master, are you all right? An ancestor of the Chi family stumbled over to Chi Ao sure and asked when he saw him in a daze. I'm fine. Chi Ao sure came back to his senses, shook his head, and stood up. He felt an unusual pain all over his body, as if his divine veins had been completely torn apart. However, he also knew that Taurus Longjiao had spared their lives. Otherwise, they wouldn't be alive right now. Let's go back first. Chi Ao sure looked up at the sky and sighed. Grandfather is right. There is always someone better. My 10 ancient bloodlines are really nothing. The ancestor of the Chi family couldn't help but worry. Young Master, you must not belittle yourself. Don't worry, Uncle Ji. One day, I will surpass Lu Yiping and defeat the two of them. Chi Ao sure's eyes were filled with determination. A battle intent that could fight the heavens, the earth, and the gods spread out. However, when Chi Ao sure and the Chi family members flipped the chariot over from the mountain peak, they saw that the chariot had been completely flattened. Even the 4 wheels of the car were crooked. Chi Ao sure wanted to cry but had no tears. Damn it, how was he going to ride it back? What's more, this was his grandfather's heaven-battling divine chariot, an inherited divine artifact of heaven battling city. His father would often clean this chariot for fear that there would be even the slightest speck of dust on it. Now that he returned in this state, wouldn't his father go mad? The experts of heaven battling city were dumbstruck when they saw the chariot's chariot being flattened and its four wheels crooked. In the end, Chi-Ao Shi and the people of heaven battling city walked back. This chariot could still be ridden, but he still didn't have the guts to ride it through one city after another. Because the chariot's level was high, there was no divine artifact to store it, and they couldn't ride it, so the Chi family members could only carry it. The experts present all had strange expressions on their faces when they saw the Chi family experts carrying the flat and crooked chariot and following behind Chi-Ao Shi. Can the heaven battling divine chariot still be repaired? An ancestral master stuttered. But no one could answer. The heavenly battle deity was personally forged by Qi Zhantian. The materials used to forge it were extremely rare and precious. How could it be repaired so easily? Say, do you guys think that Lord Qi Yuan will fight it out with Lu Yiping? Someone asked in the silence. Qi Yuan was the current patriarch of the Qi clan. He was the son of Qi Zhantian and the strongest person in the Qi clan. Of course, he was also one of the strongest people in the Qi clan. In the end, the Qi family members carried the heaven battling divine chariot back to heaven battling city. Everyone trembled as they carried the war chariot back to Qi Yuan's palace. A moment later, a roar spread throughout heaven battling city. Qi Yuan's eyes were bloodshot as he looked at the heaven battling divine war chariot that was deformed beyond recognition. He said word by word, "Holy Devil Master Lu Yiping. My heaven battling city will not let you off." Chi-Ao Shi stepped forward and cautiously said, "Father, there's something strange, I don't know if I should say it." "Speak." Qi Yuan stared at Chi-Ao Shi like a wounded Tyrannosaurus Rex. Chi-Ao Shi's hair stood on end. He lowered his head and said, "Lu Yiping subordinate, he knows grandfather's catchphrase." "You mean, fight your mother?" Qi Yuan was stunned. Chi-Ao Shi's face twitched, but he nodded in the end. "Yes, and that Lu Yiping seems to know grandfather." Chi-Ao Shi added, "He called grandfather Shao Qi." Shao Qi. Qi Yuan's expression changed. Lifeless Sect's ancestral land. What, Lu Yiping came to the netherworld? Tan Yi, Ma Bing, and the other four lifeless Sect's ancestors' faces changed. Yes, 4 great ancestors. The lifeless sect master lowered his head and said, "On the Sky Scorpion Mountain, Lu Yiping used lightning punishment to kill hundreds of Night Soul Race and Ma family experts present. Even Yi Zimo and Ma Shilai were killed. Now, the Buddha wheel is in Lu Yiping's hands." The lifeless sect master added cautiously, "For great ancestors, this Lu Yiping came to the netherworld prison with ill intentions. Why don't we pay a visit to the Devil Dragon Palace's Lord Long Gang?" Long Gang, Devil Dragon Palace's great ancestor. Tan Yi, Ma Bing, and the other 4 great ancestors' faces darkened. Earlier, they had sent the barefoot monsters to lead a group of experts to join hands with the Kunpeng Divine Sect to kill Lu Yiping. It was impossible for Lu Yiping to let this matter rest. According to Lu Yiping's style, since he came to the netherworld prison, he would definitely come to the lifeless sect. Inside the 5 Dawn Mountains ancestral land, a group of ancestors were gathered together, discussing today's battle on the Sky Scorpion Mountain. In the battle on the Sky Scorpion Mountain, Lu Yiping killed hundreds of Night Soul Race and Vajra Race experts. Now, many of the netherworld prison super forces knew about it. Lord Lu Yiping killed hundreds of Night Soul Race and Vajra Race experts in one move, it's really satisfying. One of the 5 Dawn Mountains ancestors clapped and laughed. The human race had always been oppressed by the devil race. Now that Lu Yiping killed the Night Soul Race and Vajra Race experts, the human race's experts clapped and cheered. "If I can serve under Lord Lu Yiping, even if it's to lead a horse and serve tea, I'm willing to do it." Jiang Haidong sighed with emotion. Jiang Haidong was the Five Dawn Mountain's strongest ancestor. While everyone was talking excitedly, Ivan's master, Tao Yifeng, remained silent. A while later, everyone dispersed. Tao Yifeng returned to his own palace, pacing back and forth. Liang Hongji had not reported to him for a long time, and this made him very uneasy. If his identity as a Night Soul Race spy was exposed, not only would there be no place for him in the Five Dawn Mountain, but also in the entire human race. After some thought, he summoned the Five Dawn Mountain's Enforcement Hall Master to his side. At this time, Lu Yiping and Tao Yifeng arrived at the Wind Sea City where they had agreed to meet Ivan. Yao Feng had already left for the Yao family. Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Ivan were heading towards the Five Dawn Mountain. Have you heard? Lord Lu Yiping killed several hundred Night Soul Race, Ma family, and Sky Scorpion Mountains experts. On the way, Ivan told Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao excitedly. Ivan only knew that Lu Yiping's surname was Lu, so he didn't know Lu Yiping's identity. What happened at the Sky Scorpion Mountain was only hearsay, so her knowledge was limited. Lu Yiping smiled hearing this. Just as the three of them left the Wind Sea City and approached the Five Dawn Mountain, a group of Enforcement Hall experts whistled through the air, stopping in front of them in the blink of an eye. Ivan was surprised to see the Enforcement Hall Master Lu Qing leading the group. Hall Master Lu, what are you doing here? Lu Qing said, Ivan, your master has found out that you're a Night Soul Race spy. Please follow us back to the Enforcement Hall for further investigation. Ivan was infuriated hearing this. I'm not. My master is the Night Soul Race spy, he's distorting right and wrong. Lu Qing frowned, saying, we'll find out whether you're the spy or not. If you're not, we'll return your freedom. With that said, he signaled for the Enforcement Hall experts to capture Ivan. Two Enforcement Hall experts walked over with iron chains in their hands. Ivan's expression changed. They were treating him as a Night Soul Race spy. If they wanted to bring him back for further investigation, they wouldn't use iron chains to detain him. Chapter 173. When the two Enforcement Hall's experts approached Ivan, Lu Qing looked suspiciously at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao standing beside Ivan. Who are these two? What is your relationship with this traitor, Ivan? He questioned. One of the Enforcement Hall's experts beside Lu Qing asked, could these two be sent by the Night Soul Race? That might be the case. The other Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master said solemnly. At this time, the two Enforcement Hall's experts arrived in front of Ivan. The iron chains in their hands swung down at Ivan. Just as Ivan was about to attack, Lu Qing warned coldly, I advise you not to resist. If you dare to resist, we will treat you as a traitor and kill you on the spot. Ivan's face turned ashen. Just as the iron chains were about to strike down, Ivan saw the iron chains slowing down until they finally stopped. In the next second, he saw the iron chains spinning back towards the two Enforcement Hall's experts, sending them flying. Ivan, Lu Qing, and the others were dumbfounded. Suddenly, Lu Qing's gaze fell on Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. It's you two. The Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master looked at Lu Yiping with indifference. Didn't I say these two are the Night Soul Race's lackeys? However, just as his words left his mouth, a bolt of divine lightning fell from the void. A thunderous boom resounded, and the Five-Cloud Mountain Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master was reduced to a pile of charcoal by the divine lightning. What? Lu Qing and the others were all shocked by this sudden divine thunder that came out of nowhere. Lu Qing and the others were shocked and angered, and they saw the Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master turned into a pile of charcoal. This Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master was not weak, he was a late-stage True God Realm expert. In his anger, Lu Qing took out a signal talisman and sent it to the Five-Cloud Mountain sect chief. While the Enforcement Hall's experts were panicking, they sent out a signal talisman to the sky. The signal talisman exploded high in the sky, illuminating every corner of the Five-Cloud Mountain. Inside the main hall, the Five Cloud Mountain sect chief who was discussing the sect's disciple competition with several grand elders was stunned when he saw the signal talisman in the sky. At this moment, his communication talisman vibrated. He took it out and was shocked. Lu Qing sent a message talisman saying that the Night Soul Tribe's elites are here. The Five Cloud Mountain sect master said, the vice hall master of the law enforcement hall, Yan Hai, was killed on the spot. What? The Night Soul clan is too arrogant. The grand elders in the palace were furious. Gather all the elders and supreme elders. Follow me to face the enemy. The Five Cloud Mountain sect master's face sank. A short while later, the Five Cloud Mountain sect chief led a group of Five Cloud Mountain's grand elders and elders to Lu Yiping's location. On the way over, the Five Cloud Mountain sect chief pondered for a moment before sending a message to Jiang Haidong and the others. In the ancestral land, Jiang Haidong's face turned cold when he received the message. Subsequently, Jiang Haidong and the group of Five Sunset Mountains ancestors also flew out from the ancestral land. After all, it involved the Night Soul clan. This was no small matter. Therefore, after the Five Sunset Mountain sect master and the others arrived, Jiang Haidong and the group of ancestors also arrived. The Five Cloud Mountain sect chief and Lu Qing quickly saluted when they saw Jiang Haidong personally arriving. When Jiang Haidong arrived, he immediately saw the enforcement hall's vice hall master Yan Hai's charred corpse. His expression turned even colder. Tao Yifeng, who followed behind Jiang Haidong, was surprised to see Ivan at the scene. When Jiang Haidong had summoned them, he had only told them that a Night Soul clan's expert had arrived and killed the enforcement hall's vice hall master. He did not know the details. What happened? Jiang Haidong asked solemnly. Lu Qing hurried forward and answered respectfully, Old ancestor, Lord Tao Yifeng found out that his disciple, Ivan, is a Night Soul clan spy and ordered us to capture her. However, when we were about to bring Ivan back for interrogation, the two people she brought with her attacked and killed the vice hall master on the spot. Ivan was just a core disciple of the Five Cloud Mountain. Normally, he did not even have the qualifications to meet Jiang Haidong. Now that Jiang Haidong, the strongest ancestor of the Five Cloud Mountain, was here in person, his face was as white as a sheet. Lu Qing added, we suspect that these two people are the Night Soul clan's lackeys. However, just as he finished speaking, Taurus Longjiao swung the Kuan Peng staff at him. Boom! The Five Cloud Mountain enforcement hall master Lu Qing was smashed into the ground. The ground trembled 3 times. Sand and dust flew into the air. Taurus Longjiao said coldly, it seems like you still don't understand why that guy died. Everyone was dumbfounded. Ivan, who was already pale with fright, widened his eyes in shock. Arrogant. Jiang Haidong was so angry that his beard trembled. He abruptly slapped his palm at Taurus Longjiao. 5 cloud ocean palm. 5 different colors of light shot out, and the faint sound of waves could be heard. Astonishingly, Jiang Haidong was a mid-stage planar lord. Taurus Longjiao did not even look at him. He flicked his finger, and a terrifying energy pillar instantly pierced through the 5 cloud ocean palm and engulfed Jiang Haidong. The terrifying energy pillar carried Jiang Haidong into the mountain peak in the distance. It then came out of the mountain peak and into another mountain peak. It only stopped after piercing through more than 10 mountains. After piercing through more than 10 mountains, Jiang Haidong fell from the sky. The experts of the 5 Cloud Mountain were stunned. Ivan looked at Taurus Longjiao in shock. Quick, activate the 5 Cloud Mountain Grand Formation. The 5 Cloud Mountain sect master shouted angrily. Instantly, the mountain peaks of the 5 Cloud Mountain glowed brightly. The power of the Grand Formation surged out from each mountain peak. However, Lu Yiping only glanced at it. Heavenly dragons filled the sky. The sea of heavenly dragons drowned the heavens and the earth. The dragon's roar resounded throughout heaven and earth. The only thing left in the ears of the people of the Five-Cloud Mountain was the dragon's roar. The dragon's roar gathered together and formed a terrifying dragon's roar that blasted towards the mountain peaks of the Five-Cloud Mountain. The mountain peaks exploded, and the light of countless grand formations dissipated. The Five-Cloud Mountain Grand Formation shattered like glass. The Five-Cloud Mountain Grand Formation that had just been activated disappeared from the world. The heavenly dragons circled around Lu Yiping's body. Lu Yiping stood in the middle of them like the dragon clan's ancestor. There were no fluctuations of energy coming from his body, but the dragon's might shook the world. Who are you? The Five-Cloud Mountain Sect Master, Tao Yifeng, and the others stared at Lu Yiping with shock in their eyes. Then, everyone saw a huge hole open up in the sky. From the hole, the heavenly thunder came crashing down. Endless heavenly thunder enveloped the entire Five-Cloud Mountain. The Five-Cloud Mountain no longer saw the light of day. There was only a sea of divine lightning in the sky. The power of lightning punishment. You're the ancestor of lightning punishment. The master of Saint Devil. Lord Lu Yiping. Jiang Haidong, who was blasted out of the mountain peaks, got up and saw the divine lightning in the sky. His voice trembled, and his words were incoherent. The Five-Cloud Mountain Sect Master, Tao Yifeng, and the others were shocked. Ivan looked at Lu Yiping in disbelief. Big Brother Lu. Lu Yiping. Chapter 174. In his agitation, Jiang Haidong suddenly fell to his knees in front of Lu Yiping. Five Sunset Mountains. Jiang Haidong kowtows to the Saint Devil Sect's master. Jiang Haidong had eyes but failed to see, mistaking Lord for the Night Soul Race. Lord, please punish me. The Five Sunset Mountains Sect chief, ancestors, grand elders, and disciples all fell to their knees, trembling in fear. The enforcement hall's expert who was kneeling on the ground earlier was so frightened that his face was ashen. Lu Yiping's gaze swept over the crowd, and his gaze fell on Tao Yifeng standing beside the Five Sunset Mountains Sect chief. You're Tao Yifeng? Lu Yiping's voice was indifferent. Tao Yifeng's body trembled, and his voice quivered, replying to Lord, I am Tao Yifeng. Jiang Haidong and the others turned to look at Tao Yifeng. Killing intent surged in Lu Yiping's eyes, and a suction force pulled Tao Yifeng in front of him. His hand tightened, and Tao Yifeng's neck was clenched. His face turned red, and fear filled his eyes. Lu Yiping's gaze was indifferent. Do you know why I want to kill you? You and your eldest disciple, Liang Hongji, betrayed the Five Sunset Mountain and pledged allegiance to the Night Soul Race and Diamond Sect. You were discovered by the Five Sunset Mountains Lin Shiluo and Yao family's Yao Feng, so you ordered your eldest disciple, Liang Hongji, to rape and kill Lin Shiluo. Then you married Yao Feng to Yao family's Yao Feng, and ordered Liang Hongji to hunt him down. The Five Sunset Mountains experts were enraged looking at Tao Yifeng. Lu Yiping added, but Liang Hongji disappeared, and you found Yao Feng with your youngest disciple, Ivan. You were worried that Yao Feng would reveal the truth to Ivan, so you slandered your disciple, saying that she was a spy for the Night Soul Race. Then you ordered the enforcement hall to arrest her. Lu Yiping's cold voice reverberated through the Five Sunset Mountain, reaching the ears of every Five Sunset Mountains disciple and the other traders present. Tao Yifeng's face was ashen. Lu Yiping immediately searched Tao Yifeng's soul, and a bolt of lightning struck Tao Yifeng, turning him into ashes. I've just searched Tao Yifeng's memories and found out that many people have joined the Night Soul clan and the Vajra sect. Indifferent, Lu Yiping scanned a group of experts from Five-Cloud Mountain. Then, his gaze landed on one of the patriarchs. That old ancestor's face was deathly pale, trembling as he walked out. Then, he knelt down, kowtowing, not saying a word. The others also walked out one by one. Their faces were filled with terror as they kowtowed and begged for mercy. Jiang Haidong looked over. There were actually more than 30 people. There was a patriarch, several grand elders, more than 20 grand elders, and some core disciples. He was angry, hateful, and shocked. He had been cultivating in seclusion in the ancestral land and ignored the matters of the Five-Cloud Mountain for many years. He didn't expect that so many people would secretly pledge allegiance to the Night Soul race and the Diamond Sect. However, Lu Yiping did not kill these people. Instead, he handed them over to the Five-Cloud Mountain for them to deal with. Night fell. Lu Yiping stood inside the palace that the Five-Cloud Mountain had arranged for him. He took out Mount Buzhou and activated it, trying to sense if there were any Mount Buzhou stones in the surroundings. However, his Mount Buzhou had only merged with 2 Mount Buzhou stones. Its sensing ability was limited. At most, it could only sense if there were any Mount Buzhou stones within a few meters. After a series of fruitless attempts, Lu Yiping had no choice but to give up. After thinking for a moment, Lu Yiping summoned Jiang Haidong and said, "I came to the Five-Cloud Mountain this time to look for something." Then, he told Jiang Haidong about the color and texture of the Mount Buzhou stones. Jiang Haidong hesitated for a moment after listening to Huang Xiaolong's explanation. Then, he said, "My lord, the Five-Cloud Mountain's treasury has a few of the stones you're talking about. I'm just not sure if they are the stones you're talking about." "What, a few?" Lu Yiping was dumbfounded. Then, he stood up and said, "Take me there." Jiang Haidong didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately led Lu Yiping to the Five-Cloud Mountain's treasury. Then, he opened the treasury's door and followed Lu Yiping into the depths of the treasury. There were several stones that looked like silver ores. There were 4 of them in total. Some were as big as a meter, while others were only half a meter tall. Lu Yiping was overjoyed. Sure enough, they were Mount Buzhou stones. Moreover, there were 4 of them. "Did you find these stones?" Lu Yiping asked. If he knew where these Mount Buzhou stones were found, he might be able to find more. Jiang Haidong relaxed when he saw the joy on Lu Yiping's face. He quickly smiled and said, "Yes, my lord. I found these stones in an underground cave at the back of the mountain. At that time, I felt that these stones were extraordinary, so I put them all away. However, apart from being abnormally hard, these stones don't seem to have any other uses. Moreover, I've used all kinds of divine flames, but none of them have been able to melt these stones." Lu Yiping smiled. These were Mount Buzhou stones. Their hardness was comparable to the #1 divine tree in the world, the creation tree. It would be strange if you could melt them with divine flames. Even chaos flames wouldn't be able to refine Mount Buzhou's stone. In this world, there were only 1 or 2 things that could melt these Mount Buzhou stones. Just like the creation tree, only the heaven-splitting divine axe and the earth-splitter chisel could hope to cut it. Afterwards, Lu Yiping used 4 acquired spiritual treasures to exchange for the 4 Mount Buzhou stones. Jiang Haidong didn't dare to take Lu Yiping's acquired spiritual treasures, but under Lu Yiping's insistence, he could only accept them. After temporarily storing the 4 Mount Buzhou stones in the cauldron of heaven and earth, Jiang Haidong brought Lu Yiping to an underground cave at the back of the mountain. This underground cave was extremely secluded, and it wasn't big. It could only accommodate 2 or 3 people. After arriving, Lu Yiping opened the eye of lightning punishment between his brows, and it passed through the layers of mountain walls and swept through the layers of space around the cave. However, to Lu Yiping's disappointment, he didn't find any Mount Buzhou stones. In the end, Lu Yiping scanned the deeper parts of the cave. When Lu Yiping's eye of lightning punishment passed through the underground space, he saw a different space. This space was actually filled with chaos energy. In addition to the chaos energy, there was also an astonishing 9-colored light. "Wait for me here," Lu Yiping said to Jiang Haidong. In a flash, he arrived at the different space. Lu Yiping scanned the different space, then flew towards the source of the chaos energy. This space was extremely large. In the end, Lu Yiping arrived at the extreme north of the different space. At the extreme north of the different space, there was a small mountain several dozen meters tall. This small mountain was actually the Mount Buzhou stone. Seeing such a large piece of Mount Buzhou stone, Lu Yiping was dumbfounded. Compared to this Mount Buzhou stone, the 4 pieces that Jiang Haidong had obtained earlier were simply small stones. On top of this Mount Buzhou stone, there was a gourd vine with a small purple gold gourd hanging from it. The chaos energy in this space was emitted from this gourd vine. This is the Grand Mist Era's innate spiritual root, the gourd vine. Lu Yiping guessed with a pleasantly surprised expression. This was really a pleasant surprise. The Grand Mist Era was before the opening of the heavens. At the beginning of the universe, it was a primordial chaos. This period was called the Grand Mist Era. Chapter 175. There were 10 great innate spiritual roots in this world. The first of the 10 great innate spiritual roots was the Genesis green lotus that nurtured the creation jade disc. Like the Genesis green lotus, this gourd root was one of the 10 great innate spiritual roots, also known as the rainbow gourd vine. Lu Yiping suppressed his joy as he came to the front of Buzhou Mountain. He stretched out his hand and lifted the dozens of meters high Buzhou Mountain. It was quite heavy. Based on Lu Yiping's estimation, even existences that had surpassed the plane master level would find it difficult to move Mount Buzhou, which was tens of meters tall. Of course, this little bit of weight was nothing to him. Lu Yiping kept the mountain into the cauldron of heaven and earth. Of course, the rainbow gourd vine grew in this mountain, so Lu Yiping also kept the rainbow gourd vine in the cauldron. Before leaving, Lu Yiping also used a jade bottle to collect all the chaos qi in this strange space. Inside the cave, Jiang Haidong was waiting patiently. Suddenly, there was a flash in front of his eyes. Lu Yiping had returned. "Lord!" Jiang Haidong greeted him. Lu Yiping smiled, "Let's talk when we get back." Lu Yiping was in a good mood because of the bountiful harvest this time. After the two returned to the palace, Lu Yiping took out the jade bottle that contained the chaos qi and gave it to Jiang Haidong, saying, "There's chaos qi inside, it's beneficial for your cultivation." Jiang Haidong was shocked when he heard this. Chaos qi. He was about to refuse when he heard this. "You deserve this chaos qi." Lu Yiping said, "Take it." If it weren't for Jiang Haidong, he wouldn't have been able to find such a large piece of Mount Buzhou stone, not to mention the rainbow gourd vine that was attached to it. Moreover, he had plenty of chaos qi. He could continue to produce the rainbow gourd vine and creation tree in the future. Hearing Lu Yiping's firm tone, Jiang Haidong had no choice but to accept it. He was so grateful that he couldn't help but bow to Lu Yiping in gratitude. "You can leave first. I'm going into seclusion for the next few days. Don't disturb me," Lu Yiping said. Next, he had to properly melt these Buzhou mountain stones. Jiang Haidong replied respectfully and then retreated. After coming out, Jiang Haidong was still worried and summoned the 5 Cloud Mountain sect master and the others. He instructed them not to disturb Lu Yiping for the next few days. After returning to his palace, Jiang Haidong opened the jade bottle. When Jiang Haidong saw the tumbling primal chaos qi in the jade bottle, he was stunned. At first, he had thought that Lu Yiping had only given him a few strands of chaotic aura at most. However, there were tens of thousands of strands of chaotic aura churning inside. Or 100,000. Jiang Haidong suddenly felt like he was about to faint. This was exciting. In his excitement, he knelt down in the direction of Lu Yiping and respectfully kowtowed again and again. "I, Jiang Haidong, am unable to repay your kindness." After a long time, Jiang Haidong stood up and took a deep breath. Then, he entered the depths of the palace and began to absorb the chaotic aura to cultivate. At this time, Lu Yiping gave a few instructions to Taurus Longjiao and then set up a restriction around his palace. He began to take out the Buzhou mountain stones and the Buzhou mountain stones he had obtained today. Lu Yiping first fused with the 4 Buzhou mountain stones in Jiang Haidong's treasury. After Lu Yiping fused with the 4 Buzhou mountain stones, the stone that was originally as tall as a person grew to the height of 2 people. Then, Lu Yiping fused with the stone that was dozens of meters tall. After he finished fusing with the stone, the Buzhou mountain in his hand had grown to more than 40 meters. As for Buzhou mountain, it had undergone tremendous changes. The entire mountain was suffused with a mesmerizing luster. At this moment, Buzhou mountain looked like a divine mountain that had been created from the heavens. Previously, the Buzhou mountain stone that the rainbow gourd vine was on had lost its vitality, so the rainbow gourd vine's growth had stopped. Now, as Buzhou mountain was filled with vitality, the rainbow gourd vine also glowed with a divine luster. Chaotic aura filled the air. The small purple gold gourd hanging on the vine also shone brightly. Lu Yiping looked at the purple gold gourd and thought for a moment. Then, he took out the spring of life and poured it on the rainbow gourd vine. As the spring of life continued to pour water, the purple gold gourd grew brighter and brighter. However, after a bowl of water, the gourd only grew brighter and did not change. The gourd vine glowed with rainbow colors and the chaotic aura around it grew denser. After Lu Yiping poured 10 bowls of water, the fist-sized purple gold gourd finally expanded a little, but only a little. Lu Yiping couldn't help but feel his heart ache. Although these things were treasures, it was too expensive to raise them. Now, after watering 10 bowls of the spring of life, it only grew a little. This purple gold gourd was only the size of a fist. Even if he used up all the spring of life he had on him, the purple gold gourd still wouldn't mature. Lu Yiping put away the spring of life and watered it with star chaos water. However, after watering a large bucket, the purple gold gourd didn't change much. It only grew brighter. Clearly, the star chaos water didn't have much effect on the gourd vine. Lu Yiping had no choice but to stop watering it. In the next few days, Lu Yiping watered the rainbow gourd vine 10 bowls of spring of life and 2 bowls for Jian Shu. While watering the rainbow gourd vine, Buzhou mountain was also nourished, its luster flowing. Other than watering Jian Shu and the rainbow gourd vine, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao studied the sky steels. At the same time, Lu Yiping tried to refine 100 sky steels. He started with the sky steel's main steel. However, the sky steels had countless layers of space. It would take some time to find the array core. On this day, just as Lu Yiping was studying the sky steels, he received a message from the Heavenly Questions Pavilion. Saint Royal City. Lu Yiping opened the message and muttered to himself. Previously, he had asked the Heavenly Questions Pavilion to find the whereabouts of the Jade Fan School's sect master's personal disciple, Zhu Lang. The Heavenly Questions Pavilion sent a message saying that they had found Zhu Lang's whereabouts and that he was currently in the Saint Royal City. At this time, Jiang Haidong came to visit Lu Yiping. He said that the Saint Royal City was holding a meeting and had summoned him. He would be leaving the 5 Sunset Mountain for a few days. Human race meeting. Lu Yiping was surprised. Could the appearance of the Jade Fan School's sect master's personal disciple be related to the human race meeting? I'll go to the Saint Royal City with you. Lu Yiping said solemnly. Lord also wants to go to the Saint Royal City. Jiang Haidong was astonished. Lu Yiping grunted in acknowledgement. Then I'll go prepare now. Jiang Haidong was pleasantly surprised. He naturally hoped that he could travel together with Lu Yiping. Jiang Haidong then excused himself respectfully and prepared to leave. The human race meeting was attended by all the human race's superpowers. Moreover, the human race grand competition would be held. Thus, all the human race's sects and forces were dressed to the nines. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.